everybody. We're gonna see if we could get this show started. I gotta find my little background video, so just give me a second. There go one right there. There go one right there. All right, I gotta do some little maintenance. Do my little maintaining situation. All right, not this one. How y'all doing anyway? Oh, I gotta get my microphone together. And not this one. We gotta do a little stuff before we get going, guys. But what's up? Welcome to the show. I appreciate everybody who get the chance to come over here and check us out. It's Black Outrage number 48. Okay, we're going to content. And then we're going to right here. I've just got to do my little stuff before we get all the way acclimated and rocking and rolling. But anyway, I appreciate everybody who get a chance to come over to this channel. I'm your boy Hood, and this is Black Outrage, number 49 to be exact, number 49. So we appreciate that we're on the road to 50. Make sure all my stuff is on. So my microphone should be working now, yeah. So as everything line up, I just got to do my little maintenance stuff. I'm gonna try to put a little poll in the comment section and everything like that. So let's open this one right here, and then let's get back off up in there and open this one. So, but anyway, didn't know if I was gonna do a show today. That was really kind of the trick for this one. I was like, damn, am I gonna do a show? I can't know. I just oh man, I gotta change my damn shirt too. Matter of fact. But let me get this. I walked straight back here without doing it. So let's hit that button. It says still say unlisted though for some reason. Wow. Okay, so it didn't save. Okay, so it didn't save yet. All right. And let me just put this down here. I'll try to delete this part in 2 minutes in. Almost be 3 minutes in. Black Outrage. All right, we almost at that point. We almost at that point. And then last but not least, right here. And then I got to hit that live button real quick. And then let's get on up here to live. Actually, I'm not going to hit it yet till I get back with my shirt. Because it's still, yeah, it didn't switch over yet. The real Hood Film shirt is here. All right, now we can hit that button, go live, and then everything should be up and running. Here it is. I thought I hit it already, but sometimes you got to hit it on the main computer. This is just how I go, guys. So now we are 4 minutes in. I know I got to delete these first 4 minutes of this video, and it should be live now at the 4th minute. All right, so welcome to the channel, everybody. If you get a chance to come over here and check us out, we appreciate you. We're going to talk about Trump today and the stuff that he got going on. Trump been really talking a lot of craziness about black folk, the black history that we all have experienced here in America. Him being a president, he don't like it. You know what I'm saying? He don't like it. He ain't happy with it. So Trump is like one of them people that he make the decision and everybody got to go with it. Unfortunately, that's the way he rocking right now. But for us, oh, dang, I got to finish doing a little maintenance. We all got to keep handling it and dealing with it, but it kind of is like, dude, we know what you up to, Trump. Come on, man. Let me hit the sound. Audio. Oh, it's okay. It's working. See, yesterday this wasn't working. That's why my show I wasn't really gonna do it today because it keep glitching on me around 12:30 every day. So the computer just shuts down. not the computer, just everything just crashed. It's like, what the fuck? They finally brought a super chat button back. That ain't been up there for like 2 or 3 days too, so it's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. Put this survey here. All right, is Trump wrong for dissing slavery? That's what he's trying to do. I start that poll right there, and you could make a decision when you come into the chat right there. Let me make sure I got my number right too, because this is actually number 49, not 48. Let's put that to a 9 and hit save on that. All right, so and yeah, anyway, that's all my little stuff I gotta do ahead of time. I'm gonna get right to the video where Trump is actually talking his craziness. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta do my maintenance. You know what I mean? Put that number word. All right, I'll keep our show going. I'm asking you guys to support us a little bit on the super chat if you can. We got super chat opportunities. Show us some love if you can. And then the voting is going on too right there. This is my last little element that I got to do real quick. And monetization. All right. You have to do all these things now before you get started with the show. There's just a little extra little elements you got to do before you get going. And all shows got to do this stuff. Tag products, it's like a little elements that they'll allow you to do over here at YouTube. So now that everything is set up and tagged and all that super chats are together, you can actually show some love if you want to at any point, or you can also vote on what's going on in the super chats. I mean, in the comments. Is Trump wrong for this slavery? All right, let's get to the slavery that he is being accused of. I had to do all my little maintenance stuff at first. These shows be zapping you. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I get mad tired. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get rest and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So let's get to it. All right, Trump. Here it is right here. Guy named Bakari Sellers. He's somebody. That's somebody. Uh-oh. Let them do their commercial real quick. Yeah, let them do their commercial. It's fast commercials though. Like 5, 6, 7 seconds. Skippy though. There we go. All right, let Trump explain what's happening because they got done what they talking, and excuse me. And then this is a point where Trump actually visited the Smithsonian Museum. Excuse me. Let's get to it, guys. Welcome to the show too, and we appreciate you stopping in. But let Trump tell us what the heck is going on, and we'll talk about it after El Trumpo.
Privilege of visiting the National Museum of African American History and Culture right here in Washington, D.C. It's a new, beautiful Smithsonian museum that serves as a shining example of African Americans' incredible contributions to our culture, our society, and our history. It also tells of the great struggle for freedom and equality that prevailed against the sins of slavery and the injustice of discrimination. The work and love of the people who helped create such a masterpiece is a testament to the legacy of so many leaders it honors.
Well, that was him talking the good stuff about it, but that was the older visit when he came to the Smithsonian. So now that you got a little bit of glimpse, they're going right back to a commercial. Now you got a glimpse of what the conversation is. We're going to let the people describe why they're mad at Trump and what the hell he actually said to them or what was his actions. So let this lady explain too, because she's going to go into a deeper aspect. Hit the like button, show some love too, guys. We appreciate you, and make sure you vote. Hit the polls. Is Trump wrong for dissing slavery? That's the conversation today, and we're going to let this lady explain it to us right here. And let's get to the conversation. Welcome to the show. I appreciate y'all. Let's go. Shut up, shut up. Get the music out of here.
His first crackdown on Smithsonian museums is, quote, everything discussed is how bad slavery was. What we try to do on this program is create a platform for discussion and debate that reflects the very real differences that exist in this country. It's what echo chambers in our society fail to do, frankly. But on this topic, it's important to say objectively, slavery was indeed bad. It was evil, the nation's original sin. And it is impossible to understand the true history of this country without fully grappling with slavery's impact. Simply because of their birthplace and the color of their skin, the bodies and spirits of black men, women, and children were exploited for profit and power. They were forced onto ships, bound by shackles and collars that ripped off their skin. One older man described it as iron entering our souls. Some chose to jump into the waters infested with sharks rather than feel that iron. Now, once they arrived on this very soil, they were forced to work by way of the whip, despite being starved, sleep deprived, threatened, tortured, physically and psychologically. They were auctioned off, humiliated, fearful, and separated from their families and their children. Black women and girls were.
All right, so let's just just stop right there and just understand what the lady's saying. She's breaking down the stuff that a lot of people try to get you to forget, or a lot of people try to get you to say it happened a long time ago. You know, we've done so much since then. Why do you guys keep bringing up the past? Why is slavery such a big deal to you? But this is the stuff that's trauma that's passed down for centuries. And obviously, if it could happen to other races, if something happened to the J couple, to J people, or if something happened to the Indian people or anything like that, they want us to remember. Even 9/11, they say you better remember it. Anything happened to any other culture, you're supposed to remember it. But when it comes to black people, it's supposed to be like we getting on their nerves, we talking too much, we bringing it up too much. But just listening to some of the stuff the lady said, and it's just one person describing it. She's actually at CNN or some job. Yeah, CNN. So she really don't have a chance to explain everything. It's just a job. But being a black person, she can know just on her own, learning from your parents about what happened to our people as black people been in America. So obviously you're going to mention it, you're going to talk about it, you're going to speak of it, especially if another culture get to come to America and talk about how successful they are, how much money they was able to raise by being a worker or living in America. You can't mention the things that stopped your culture from being moving forward, or all of these different elements that they got on black people to stop you from moving forward. It's really crazy. So people should mention it and talk about it. And Trump not wanting it to be spoken on and kicking out the museums, it just really shows you his level of hatred towards blacks. But it don't really matter. You can't delete what black people did because of your likability of them. That's dumb. So whether you like them or not, determines if they did something in the history of America. That's not gonna happen. So hit the like button, guys. Show some love. I appreciate y'all coming to the channel. Black Outrage. I'm your boy Hood. We're going on a conversation with Trump and why everybody's pissed over him acting like he want to get the history of black folks out of the museums. You know, he's in town now. He's in charge. So a lot of things that he's saying, the other people that work for him have to operate. You know, things that he control, they got to do it. So let me know what y'all think about this. And we got the poll over there in the comment section. The question again is Trump wrong for what he's doing? Is Trump wrong for ending slavery? Well, not ending slavery, but dissing slavery, because that's basically what he's doing. Trying to say that people should not be able to continue to teach slavery. The nihilist joker said history is so awkward and easily weaponized. Well, not black history and not history of slavery. You cannot weaponize slavery. You cannot, all of those things that they can do with all of the fake news and fake outrage that they have about different things, you can't do that with slavery. You can't do that with black people, because all of this stuff is already historically bound. So before the internet, before you got big, before you was able to have a conversation, before you knew how to talk, before you knew how to manipulate words, this stuff is still already historically stuck and historically said. So it's not about bunch of folks agreeing. It's already done like that. It's already been like that. The culture of white people already did what they're gonna do. They already did it. Slavery, hangings, and coming over gentrified neighborhoods, just overpowering the people who was running different elements of the cities. It's what it was. So, you know, let's let them get back to the conversation. I appreciate y'all coming to check us out again. This is our thing. Gary said, Trump, no good. Yeah, so, you know, people got their opinion, and Trump is foul for what he on. You know, I know he's a racist, but this is like dissing black people and stopping us from having something. It is ridiculous. What's up, Steve-O Stoner? That's my bro, Steve-O Stoner, checking out the show. He come through every day, kicking it with us. He got the new album out called Revolutionary Stoner. It's out there on the platforms. Go check out. There's bangers on there. Got a new album coming out, a new single coming out called Hip Hop Blues, and that'll be out in about the 29th. So I'll be letting y'all a little bit more about that. Also, I want you guys to continue to show us love. We got the super chats happening over in the channel. We got the voting, and the voting is funny because as many votes as we got so far, it's dead even. You would think that more people would be having it in different directions, but most people don't feel like Trump is not that bad, or his feeling is not that bogus for this and slavery. So let's make those votes in the poll change right now, because right now it's dead even. 50-50. So that's crazy. So let me know what y'all think, and hit the like button, show some love. Hit the like button, run up the likes for me, guys. I appreciate y'all showing love over here, and hit the comments. So we're gonna get right back to the conversation and let Trump explain, or let the lady explain more about what's going on with Trump and all this stuff. So let me get back to my footage, and we'll let her continue to break it down for us, right? Thank you for hitting the like button, showing love. We appreciate y'all. We right back on the message, guys. Let's get it. Take it away.
Raped and sexually assaulted, many were brutally murdered and mutilated. Now, this endured for decades, centuries, and even in the places where slavery was not legal, institutions from our banks to universities were built on enslaved labor in both the North and in the South. And for many of the white Americans who did not personally own slaves, they benefited from a caste system that concentrated wealth and political power in their hands. So, when we acknowledge the existence of Black people,
Yo, I want to stop it real quick because she said something that was really dope. Because a lot of times you hear people say, or even black people say, why is it that they trying to make all the white people who never had slaves deal with that? Why are they trying to make white people who never owned no slaves have to deal with slavery conversations or reparations? Like, why would that happen? But just like the lady said, it was a caste system built. A caste system being, we at the top, you at the bottom, and it was built off of color, and just because of your race and your color. So it didn't matter if you was a slave owner, you actually benefited from being a white person because of the level of violence that they would do. And you're not down there stopping it, you're not down there blocking it, you're down there watching it happen, but you're down there making sure that you get some of whatever come through the pipeline, just like anybody else. You don't have to go into the front line and benefit and fight. You just actually know it's a fight going on, and whoever wins is going to be you. So, and if it ever came down to it, those people would have went down there and kept slavery going too. And the folks who didn't keep slavery going, they still benefited from it, because you can basically have slave labor all over your country, all over your cities, all over your neighborhoods. It's just like the jail systems right now. Who are they mostly disproportionately affecting? Black people. So you don't really see a bunch of white folks down there saying, hey, this ain't right. What's happening? What's going on? Most people believe that if you did the crime, you do the time. So when they take a black person from some inner city neighborhood and he ship you down to some southern rural area, and you basically going to be living in this jail building for the next 20 years, you're basically going to take care of white people. They're going to be able to come down there and get a job. They're going to work there. They're going to be able to take care of their family, Christmas, break, 4th of July, all kind of holidays. They'll be able to take care of themselves off of you. Then when they have a child, they'll be able to get the kid a job inside that same prison. Whereas a black person, you was broke, you ain't got no money, you tried to make it and survive in the inner city, but as you did, you got caught up in a trap, and then they put you up in a prison cell. And you sitting here with your head spinning around like, what the hell just happened? I was just in 8th grade, I was in high school, then next thing you know, I'm in jail, prison, what the fuck? It's a system set up that's gonna make you eat. So yeah, maybe them people down in some rural area who stay outside of a prison, they maybe did not have no slaves. They maybe didn't own no slaves, but today and every year before, you was able to benefit from it. You get a job, you get to go down here and work, your kids eat, you got food, you got a truck. What the hell you mean you're not benefiting from it? How is black people benefiting from a white person in a rural area? Let's flip it around. Let's see how, if you're from the south side of Chicago, you're gonna benefit from a Caucasian from a rural area. What is it? What, you gotta get a job at the NBA and then maybe he'll drive down there and watch you play? What is it? You gonna teach at a university and maybe he'll come sit in the class and down there and learn something from you? It's nothing you can do to benefit from white people in some rural area. It's not even systems set up like that. Black people don't even think like that. But there's so many systems set up for you to go down, and your demise mean all these other folks eat. All these other folks get food. All these other folks get to take care of themselves. Even just the fact of you being caught up in a criminal situation. You got all the judges, the sheriffs, the actual county people, the clerks. All these folks get to eat. The people who supply the jails, the people who supply with the clothes, the food. It's just the systems. It's no system set up where black people can make money from off of other races. For instance, music. Most black people make the damn music. but it's never given a fuck about until the other race come and take it. And then all of a sudden it's in a war show. Now all of a sudden it's a whole big old thing. And the same black people who know damn well that they try to castigate you and kick you out be working their ass off to get acknowledgement from those same places. And it's like, that's what the fuck we mean about benefiting from slavery. It's not necessarily that you had to have a slave, but if you owned Harvard and a bunch of black folks built your building, the law library and the law buildings, you still benefited from it. Who the fuck cares if you own one? Your building and all your shit was built for by slave labor, and the rest of the country was built like that as well. Bridges, land, areas. Just think about that shit. Your benefits still happen. It don't have to come from a whip on somebody's back. So I just want to clear that crap up, because everybody keeps trying to act like that certain kind of white people didn't do something or whatever, and so they should be absolved. What are you talking about? That nobody looks at black people and say, oh, well, that one guy did that crime. He's the only one. Every time a black person do a crime, it's like, look at them black people, man. That we represent all. That one black dude or girl represent every black motherfucker across the nation. However, a white person can run into their place, stab everybody up in Walmart, and we'll just be like, that's one crazy white dude. You ain't connecting him to every damn white person. So it's bullshit in the game. So let's get back to the conversation. I want to make sure I clear up that part, because I don't like hearing that type of bull crap. We back on it, y'all. Hit the like button, show some love. Hit the super chats. Get the t-shirt, show some love. Black Outrage. We're doing the thing our own way. This is our conversation, y'all. Let's get to it.
Who operated George Washington's Mount Vernon, or the black hands that built the White House, we are acknowledging the existence, the perseverance, and the contributions of the souls that white supremacy sought to erase. Those people built families, they developed a culture, they were the keepers of the faith, cultivators of community. And they are the ones who deserve credit for forcing America to rid itself of the stain of slavery. Now, all of this information, these stories are from the Smithsonian's African American History Museum. And I share this not as a lecture for you, but as a lesson. America, the superpower, is largely possible only because of the superpowers of people who went lifetimes without the same rights of generations who were boosted from their backs. True history should include everything. Yes, the evils and the horrors too. And museums are supposed to be places that protect those stories, the images, the lessons, the very things that inform so much of our current state of our republic, from racism to poverty. No matter how painful, or in the president's words, how horrible the lesson. Now, just listen to one formerly enslaved man describe what slavery is like in his own words.
You know what I'd rather do? If I thought that I'd ever be a slave again, I'd take a gun and just end it all right away. Because you're nothing but a dog. You're not a thing but a dog.
That's crazy. Now that's an actual slave they saying talking right there. And he said, you're not a slave, you're a dog. He said, if I had a chance and they said you was gonna come back and be a slave again, he said, I'd take me a gun and end it right there. I said, damn. But we could imagine what it was like, but we would never know. And just like somebody like Kanye West saying slavery was a choice, I think it's a choice to be dumb about everything, to just be stupid and just live in the now and not know about the past and not know about where you came from and know about the people where the other race came from and how their mind work. You know what I'm saying? And that's, to me, it's just information you should be knowing. That don't mean you can't marry a white person if that's what you're into. That don't mean you can't live in a neighborhood like that if that's what you're into. But the knowledge that's out there should not be something that is especially from white people hiding the knowledge. That's the worst part ever, because they're the ones who perpetrated it. So that means if they hide the knowledge, it'll never get out hundreds of years into the future. Nobody will ever know about it. And that's probably what they want to know and what they want, but it shouldn't be CNN doing history lessons on our messaging about the history in the past. They do got a big audience out there, but they not black people. They should be having, that lady, even whoever she is, she should be on somebody's black channel, if not her own, talking about the history of black people, because that's what's trying to be erased. The fact that we're not telling our own stories, you're leaving it up to your oppressor or oppressive people to tell your historical facts. And to me, that's another thing that make it crazy. So it's like, how are they gonna do something for your benefit? It don't make no, it makes no sense. You know, insert generic said, yep, insert generic name here, that's dope, said, tell them boss. Steve O'Stoner said, on top, that we are making the U.S. government pay reparations because the U.S. government sanctions slavery and the war on black people to build this country for free. And that's true, free 99. And that's true. And see, a lot, again, black people already know the history of historical facts. We don't need them Smithsonian Museum. It's taught to us since you were a kid. But in reality, the fact of the matter is that we we don't need them to teach us, but we need them to teach their own people. So they're not going to listen to you as a black person. Like, you're not their doctor, you're not their nurse, you're not the caregivers in their culture. They're not going to listen to you. They're going, in their culture of whiteness, they've already decided that anytime a person mentions slavery or anything mentioned towards that, you what they call them, it's just so many negative things that they say, like you complainer, you're a victim. They got so much stupid shit that they try to claim is a reason for you not to want to mention slavery or talk about it. However, in the other cultures, if you mention the J couple, then they say anything about them, and if they got the word anti-Semitic, they come right behind that. You're racial. Like Stoner said, that's true. Or if you mention another one of these cultures, let's see, the LGBT couple, then all of a sudden you can't have a job no more, because that's what the world is headed towards. You understand what I'm saying? And you're sitting back like, what the fuck? You know, and that's just against my religion. That's against what we believe in. They say you can't work here no damn more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all these other cultures have a standard that you got to live within. And they just made up cultures, matter of fact. They're not even like etched in the stone for the last 400 years and 4,000 years as a culture. It's like basically a bunch of white folks got together and said, this is what we're going to do. And now that thing get more respect than your actual culture and everybody that look like you. So it's not, people ain't going to go for that. You know what I'm saying? So these things, like the slavery conversation, need to be told and talked about. It don't matter who don't like it. It don't matter who agree or who don't agree. We have to listen to dumb crap on the news every damn day. Every single day. So if motherfuckers talking about blackness and slavery, it's about time for those conversations to be had. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the conversation. Let's see what this lady got to say. We'll let her talk about it. Let's see what's going on, guys. Hit the like button, share the message, keep the votes going, and I appreciate y'all right here at Black Outrage. Let's go.
And it's not about even just something vague about reviewing history to make sure that it's fair. He wants to make it so that it talks less about slavery. What does that say to you?
Well, I think it's an effort. It's part of a larger effort to both stainwash and whitewash American history, and essentially erase all of the parts and disappear all of the parts that make Americans, that make President Trump uncomfortable, that feel distasteful, that are a reflection of the actual real and horrific parts of our history. And I find it a little ironic. You know, earlier today, as I was listening to some of the commentary, my first thought was, wait a second, I wonder if the president has actually ever visited any of the Smithsonian museums. And then I remembered that in 2017, he actually took a tour of the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
He said during that tour. Listen to this.
I had the privilege of visiting the National Museum of African.
All right, we just watched this part a minute ago, but I'll let it play again because I'm sure it's people who came into the chat late and didn't see this part. But this is how we started the actual podcast today, by playing this particular clip. So I'll let it play again in case you came into the joint late. So there you go. Hit the like button, show some love, let us know that you care about the show we got going on over here. Hit the super chat, all that stuff that make us keep the show going. And we're going to get right back to it. Let's go.
African American history and culture, right here in Washington, D.C. It's a new, beautiful Smithsonian museum that serves as a shining example of African Americans' incredible contributions to our culture, our society, and our history. It also tells of the great struggle for freedom and equality that prevailed against the sins of slavery and the injustice of discrimination. To work in love of the people who helped create such a masterpiece is a testament to the legacy of so many leaders it honors.
And that's his hypocrisy right there, because in the beginning, that's what he was saying when the museum first got built. That was his conversation. But now he's back. Now he's back. And he basically saying, hell with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn about what y'all talking about on that. Get that crap out of here. But again, him being in power and then the messaging that's coming from his base, that's probably what they want to hear from him. Like, we tired of hearing all this blackness. You got to think about it. The immigrant debacle has only been going on for less than 20 years. You know, the black thing been going on for shit, thousands of years, or at least 500 that they can accommodate for. You know what I'm saying? They do not mess with the black race like that. So him having all of these other cultures, having them go up against the gun and run because they got these white folks chasing them to ICE, they really ain't bothering black people. We not immigrants. We didn't come here illegally. We basically have nothing to do with this scenario. We could watch it play out like watching TV. Like, just like all the black people is playing in the NBA and the NFL, we could watch them play now. All the white people playing in ICE and all of the Hispanic people playing in immigration world. So we could watch that play out and just sit back and be viewers. Like, we're not involved. We didn't come illegally. We're not the ones in charge. We're not the president and his goons. So we just sitting back watching it, and this is where the problem arises. They can't just go and do their thing with each other. They can't just go have a beef 101. I don't like you, you don't like me. They got to bring black people into some kind of way. Otherwise, we ain't got shit to do. We just could sit back like they do a lot of times when the neighborhoods go arise in our communities, and they just sit back and chill and just be like, wow, it's fucked up over there. Good thing I live in these suburbs. That's what we're able to do now. We seeing the people fighting and some big old war going on. This race chasing down that race, but they can't let us chill. We can't sit back and be spectators and ain't got nothing to do with it. And we now have to take a side on nothing. Everybody mad. Y'all won't help us protest. Other people like, yeah, you know what? Let's get on these black motherfuckers. You know what? Put the National Guard around them. What the hell? We ain't did shit. We just sitting back, going to work every day, being a part of American structure, not bothering nobody. Definitely ain't left the country and did shit in another country. But the conversation and the battle is between y'all. But since y'all really don't like each other no damn way, you got to bring us into the foray so y'all can have an equal enemy. Like, you know what? Now all of a sudden you can shift the messaging and shit. Because all that'll happen is they're going to shoot some black dude. And then all of a sudden the whole messaging is going to change from immigration as to what gun laws and immigrants need to all have with guns in the army. Like, you be so, what the fuck are they even talking about? But this would be what the conversation would be. It just would switch. Everybody need abortions and shit if they could be in the army in the first year and know your rights. You sitting back like, what? I can't even follow this shit no more. What the fuck is happening? But when the time the conversation come about slavery, be quiet, don't mention it. If things change, it ain't what it used to be. All y'all troublemakers, y'all acting like victims all the damn time. Did you hear some of the shit the lady said just there? She said they raped them, they did all this maniacal reality to black folks, and then just stopped when they felt like it. Nobody went to jail. Nobody was held accountable. Nobody paid no money. Nobody had to go stand in front of the city or the world and explain what the hell they was doing, like they did the Germans when they was putting them in jail for what they did to the Jews. All the white folks just went back, and then they've been not held accountable for so many years. It's a gang of them walking around saying, I ain't had nothing to do with that. My family didn't even have slaves. I don't even have any history in that. How the fuck would we actually know? You done deleted all the goddamn history. You took everything away from us so we could study who was who, what weekend happened this weekend. This, oh, I see it now. This family, let's trace it back to this family. Oh, they own this corporation. You make sure we can't follow none of them things. And if anybody mention it, then they can't have a job. They can't work for you. They can't have a car note. They can't have a girlfriend. They can't do a house because they mentioning you. And so many other black people are going to be afraid. And it's been like this for centuries. But you see the other cultures. When it comes to chasing down some Hispanic humans or Latin humans about being in America, they shooting back at the fucking government. They literally got a dude up in one of them cities shooting a gun back. And they all on the news talking about, find this guy, find this guy. Yeah, what you gonna threaten that one dude? There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers who got guns that'll shoot back at y'all trying to take them and yank them and arrest them if they cooking some food at some damn restaurant. But again, all of this is supposed to be more important than what happened to black people because that shit's happening right now. The media controlling what's happening on TV. We supposed to just watch what they say. That's the reality we all live in. Immigration and abortion. It's gotta affect you. No, the fuck done that shit got nothing to do with us as black people. So that's why he said, I know what to do. Take that rape, all the shit they be on, that blackness shit, delete that shit. And that's going to make black people be like, hey, what the fuck you doing? But he want attention, so that's why he's doing it. So let's get back to the message, see what the lady got to say. Hit the like button, show some love, let's go.
That he didn't believe what he read from the teleprompter as he recorded that video, or what?
You know, I'm really struggling to understand in a lot of ways, particularly given that the tour that he took with Dr. was actually a reflection of really the mastery that and really the care and the patience that brilliance that scholars, that curators put into the Museum of African American History and Culture. It is not just about the horrors of slavery, although it tells that very important story. It actually follows this really brilliant model where you move through the museum and it tells the story not just of enslaved Americans in America, but also of the resilience, of the triumph. And in doing so, it tells a story that is very much about democracy and about a quest for democracy and the way that Americans both built this country, but also the story and the narrative of like a truly American experience. And so for the president, I think, to just simply erase that and push that away tells it, particularly after praising it a few years ago, tells us that this is part of a much larger agenda. This is part of a much larger agenda to erase things that really, I think the country is just refuses to deal with. It is really uncomfortable with.
He said as much by ending this post with, "This country cannot be woke because woke is broke." He says we have to have the hottest country in the world and want people to talk about it, including our museums.
Say woke is broke, and you know what that means. What Trump saying woke is broke. Because think about a place like somewhere in Africa. Trump would not be the richest man. What's his name? Elon Musk would not be the richest man. They have to come over to America in a country that they run with whiteness in order to be the richest man. But if you're in another country like those places, even in some Saudi Arabian, Middle Eastern places, you're not going to be the richest man because you're the one in their land. And in their land, they're going to be the richest person. So to think that they the richest people in America and all that shit because we don't have the money because they keep us from having the money. So that's why he's saying woke is broke, because not the black folks here from the Jay-Z's on down. They have to get their money from white people. And if you don't, they'll kill your ass. If you come up with a thing, some kind of mechanism that's able to make gas or some shit or something work, and it works off water or steam or air, you're not going to be living no whole long time because they got industries that set up behind the things that they do and the money that they make. So you can't just pop out and be like, look at this beautiful thing I created. Everybody going to benefit from it. You're not going to be alive long with some shit like that. So they can keep you broke in their country because they created the money. And you have to have some kind of workaround through them. So that's why you see a lot of people have businesses, especially successful businesses that they create. And then they walking back up to you with a check and they saying, yeah, I sold it. You sold it? Why would you do that? Well, they gave me $250 million. You like, damn, you could have made $7 billion with it. But nah, man, I'm good. I got my money. I'm sitting back. Then that person sits down and buy a bunch of Bitcoin and be broke as hell in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the system in America. If you build something dope as hell, something that if people interested in, they're gonna make sure that you sell that motherfucker. That's the same thing. That's what's going on. My boy Stoner said, you're a radical. Alice Jew said, how did Trump beat slavery? All right, that guy's mental. Steve Stoner, we are in it. We are the history Trump. We are the history Trump. There is no culture without us. But that's the truth. Wilbur Wallace said, what's up? And Russ Dipper said, no, America has 99% middle class and Africa has 5% middle class. Yeah, that's true. But if that's what you consider middle class from the white perspective, they have a definite more of a better middle class in Africa because they don't have the same wants and needs. Most of us are trying to make more white people rich. So when you say middle class, that means that you can afford something that white people sell. Otherwise, what's the middle class? If I can only buy a home that a white bank or white realtor is selling, then that's going to be the level of income and my level of what I can purchase. When you're in Africa, when they buy something, they own it outright. There's no money check. There's no what they call it, credit. So that means you own it when you buy it. So that's gonna have more power than something. Whereas if I buy something, a house or a car, I got to pay on it for 90 months. I got to pay it for 57 weekends. I got to make sure I keep up the payments. If I lose it, if I stop paying on it, then I lose it. So that's not a middle class to hold on to. That's capitalism. Well, whereas when I go buy some shit, I can't have it unless I can afford it. So, because there's no paying on it, no leasing it, no keeping it for 90 weekends, and then they come back and say, yo, sorry, you can't keep it no more. So it's just a difference in the cultural setup. And in America, if you're broke, or if the only way you make money is to work for white people, how the fuck you gonna have some money to have something? So that's why Trump could easily say woke is broke. Why? Because they make sure that if you woke, you don't get no damn job, no money, no access to America. They took that word and made it a weapon to describe blackness. Of course, black people already decided in our culture what woke was. You know what I mean? Just knowing about what's going on, because a lot of people try to play dumb or are afraid to speak on those things because of what it could do for your personal life. But if you didn't have to work for white people as a 9 to 5 every day, more people would be probably speaking about that shit and making positions about woke and everything else. Let me take a break for 1 minute, guys. I'll be right back. Hit the like button, share the message, show some love. 1 minute break. We'll be right back. All right, my players and playettes, we are back. We are back really quick. I want to make sure I did that. Sat down. I'm going to open my window or something like that. Drink a little water. Hit the like button too, guys. Show some love. The like button is not looking like y'all rocking with it. Y'all stopping through and you coming through, but you ain't hitting the like button. You got to show some love. Keep the ball rolling. If you don't keep the ball rolling, how can we keep the show going? Yo, we got the poll over here. It says, is Trump wrong for dissing slavery? And 73% now that they heard the message is saying yes. He's wrong for dissing slavery because at the end of the day, what are you gaining from doing that? You know what I'm saying? You're not gaining nothing from dissing the black people who helped build the country. And we're going to always have a problem with it, just like the people who have a problem with the immigration shit. When they try to arrest somebody that's an immigrant at a home or at some neighborhood, people are pissed off. They don't sit back and say that's okay. They even got this whole conversation going now saying, oh, they're separating people from their families. They're separating people from their families. Well, when did they stop doing that? When it happened in slave times. They separated people from their families by the fucking millions. And this is normal. They sold you to another culture, to another family, separating you from your family. So it's like, what are you talking about? They separating people from their family. Some of that shit just be fucking crazy to me. That's all I can say. It'd be fucking crazy to me. Here go another, we'll put another super chat up there for you guys. You can support us. Hit the super chat, show some love, show some love. I'm just making sure I got a little statement in there. We don't know what we asking for. The support. You know what I'm saying? So if you can, help keep the show going. All right, start that goal. Some super chat is going in there, guys. Help us out if you can. Send a little donation to keep the show going. I appreciate all the support. Black Outrage 49. We're talking about Trump and why he's trying to diss slavery. I'm your boy Hood. This is my show. This is my platform. These are my t-shirts. This is what we sell. We got a couple of sizes in there for you guys to support us with. And everything is rocking over here. Let me get back to the statement, comments. And Dwayne Twinen, Van Twinen said, has everyone realized that when Trump won, we dodged the next pandemic, monkeypox? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that, bro, because the Democrats are so wicked and weird. I know Trump got a lot up his sleeve and there's a lot to handle with, bro. But the way the Democrats kick it's just too far for me. I ain't gonna even lie. It's like I cannot even vote for them. They so fucking bogus. Like I know Trump, what he's saying and what he's doing about blackness is like some shit because this is his last time being president. So technically, whatever he do, he's not gonna be president again. So he can do anything at this point because they let him back in. So, but he's not gonna be president twice or 3 times. But it's just really foul about how he wants to pinpoint and diss black folks in slavery when you could just go focus on whiteness. There's so much white shit happening. You got Ukraine, you got Epstein, you got fucking the schools, you got all kind of legal shit to be dealing with, and you run around to my black people in fucking museums and how it's gonna make us look different. When I was a kid, and I said this before, the rap music was about black shit. So when I think about Trump and I say, well, damn, what year did Trump start fucking with hip hop? Because you started seeing Trump around rappers at a certain time. Maybe it was in the 90s, maybe it was in the 80s. I was a kid at that point. I just would just see him. And I think he was in one of those movies called something about a white boy in a house. This shit was so big when I was a kid. This white boy was trapped in a house. It's one of the biggest fucking movies of my childhood, but I can't think of the name of the movie. Macaulay Culkin was the kid who played in the movie. But anyway, that movie, Trump was also in one of them movies. Or he was either in that or he was in some kid movie. And as I was a kid seeing Trump, and I was like, oh, okay. We see his persona, and he came around black folks. He started being around hip hop, being around black rappers, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he must know that black people cared about rap, about blackness in rap, because at that time, that's what they was talking about in rap music. So you couldn't have been around a rapper and they'd be talking about shooting somebody or killing them. Only rappers, a lot of more rappers at that time was talking about blackness and black power shit. So if you as a white guy came around black rappers, you know that's what the conversation was. You know what I'm saying? So today, obviously being so far removed from that time frame, you could see the hypocrisy now is he don't like black people again. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, trying to get everybody to like you started off in the black culture, getting black people in your face. Then you went over there to white folks and started getting TV shows. And, you know, they knew how to basically, I don't know if it's one of those people that do PR or something like that. They knew how to navigate getting your face and name out there to the world, so that one day in the future, when you run for president, you done touched every basis. You done came to the hood, you done donated over there, you done did this, you done gave to them. So now in your latter years, it's like, okay, I'm ready to sit down. I'm gonna run for president. You ain't even really got to work. You already did a lot of the work earlier on. You know what I'm saying, in your younger years. So to see him dissing rap or dissing black people or dissing black history after coming around history of the black music, it just always be disingenuous come from the people from that culture sometimes to me. So let's get right back to the message. I'm gonna get right back to the conversation. Let's let the lady talk some more. What you got to say? What y'all think too? Let me know what you think in the comment section about this crap and this craziness coming down the pipeline. Here we go again. They dissing black folks, y'all. Let's go.
Why is he equating talking about slavery with woke?
Well, look, I think, let me just start this conversation by saying that my personal view is slavery was a reprehensible institution. I agree with your words that it was our original sin. Whatever you can...
We got to let the white boy finish, because that most times don't be talking, and it seems like he got the apologetic psychology going, so we'll see what he got to say.
We also fought a war to eradicate it and to get over it as a country. And that was a necessary thing that happened, and a lot of people died, and we did eradicate it, and that's a good thing. I think what he's asking is, in our museums, what defines us? Are we going to be defined by the worst moment, or the worst institution, or the worst mistake we ever made? Or are we going to be defined by what we've done moving forward to get over it and to become the greatest nation on the earth? My belief is that he wants to look at these museums, not because he wants to do away with the idea that slavery occurred, but that he wants to ask a very simple question. Are we going to present ourselves as being exceptional or not? And I think he believes there is an effort by some to continue to try to define us from our worst moment instead of to try to focus and define us based on our best moments, which started when we eradicated slavery and began to move forward as the light of the world. And so
no, fuck that. That dude switched up the combo quick as a bitch. But the reality of the fact of the matter is that you can do exactly what he said to make the people see you at your best moment than always having to remember you at your worst moment. And that's all you gotta do is pay reparations. See, if you take the psychology from what he just said, then do the right thing. The people who you did this America's biggest sin, all these cliche, stupid ass statements, you still ain't paid them. You still haven't compensated their culture. You still haven't compensated their offspring. You still haven't compensated their generation, the kids who came along the way. They just name you. Oh yeah, you Generation X. Oh yeah, you Generation ZOP. You Generation Alpha MOP. Like, what the fuck does any of that shit mean? Generation reparations is what the fuck we should be. It should be no other conversation, because they're easily and able to use words to say it should be over with. Man, that shit happened a long time ago. You know we way better. So is Jim Crow better? Because that's what happened after that shit. Is jails, prison to jail pipeline, is that better? Because that shit didn't benefit us. So how is that going to be some betterness that happened in the future? Is redlining better? Because that's what happened to us. How is any of that shit better? How is the war on drugs beneficial to black showcasing that you guys did? So that's why I said we have to have our own museums. You cannot allow other people to have a museum for you. That's just like the German people having a museum for Jewish people. They would never allow that shit. Even if they even had it, they would never go down to that motherfucker. They'd be like, whatever they talk about is not our historical facts. You need to come to our shit. And that's what black people need to be doing, because obviously, even this guy who was a democratic mindset, I'm assuming that's why he's on this channel, he can understand Trump. Now, let's look at it from this perspective. Trump got 45 felonies. So what the fuck would we be listening to this nigga for anyway? You got a cousin or a nephew or a brother-in-law, a friend that got a felony. You don't fucking take his advice on shit. You're not calling him and saying, yo, you'll never guess what I'm going through. What you think? You sitting back like, fuck this motherfucker. He fuck around, go off or do some shit to them people. Let me leave him out of this. You know what I'm saying? So why would we be listening to Trump tell us about historical facts of our people? Or even this guy. Like, who are you? Like, you can't tell us shit about blackness, black history, black folks, what we dealt with as black people. You don't even know the trauma that we dealt with. You talking about what Trump talking about. Get your lame, what are you fucking what? Trump ain't talking about nothing. He just said get rid of our historical information so that anything he's saying after them two words or the conversation is deleted, because that's a lame. He actually got all these felonies and he talking about us, about our historical facts. The two don't even weigh up. The two don't even weigh up. He need to be talking about white people facts, because this dude is a felonious person. Just that alone allows us to be like, we don't give a shit what you're talking about, because we understand how felonies get down in this country from what y'all say, from how y'all rock out against felonies. So now we supposed to listen to one? Like, come on, you just said all felonies but don't get votes, they don't get no damn words. But all of a sudden, we supposed to listen to one concerning our black race and our historical facts. All this shit is convoluted and it's crazy. But let's get back to the conversation so we don't be not hearing it and understanding. And on the voting side, it's still a strong 72%. People keep the polls rocking. I see the polls is coming in strong. I appreciate that too. Yo, let's get to the comments. Hit the like button, guys, and show some love on the super chats. We got the super chats going in there. We need some super chats this time, guys. We've been going almost 50. Come on, we're at show 49. We almost 50 shows every day committed. That's commitment, and it's hard to stay committed to something that's like, a lot of energy got to go into it. Let's go with 99 Dwayne. I said what he said. Okay, so we back on straight sweetness. Said Home Alone 2. Okay, damn, she knew exactly which one it was. I seen it, but I was slightly getting older, so I was at that age where it's like, I ain't watching that shit. But, you see it any damn way. American Made say Trump 2028. Hey, that nigga might get there, too. He might, because he the only one that can make a rule that'll be like, yeah, ain't gonna be no ending of my presidency. We're gonna rock and roll into the next. And it'll be many thousands of people that'll be like, we with that, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Steve O'Stoner said, laugh my house off. The country was built on racism and free black labor. Now they want to run away from it. Nah, bring that ass over here with the reparations check. And that's exactly the whole point. It's easy to try to forget some shit now and be like, man, why are we even talking about that? Woo, y'all want to go to the beach? Like, no, hold the fuck on. Nigga, last time we was at the beach, I was drowning motherfuckers. Man, there you go again. Every time we mention some shit, man. Look, let's just go get something to eat. Well, nigga, we couldn't even eat in the fucking place with y'all. Y'all made us eat outside. God damn, dude, can you just let it go? Let it fucking go. Come on, I got tickets to the basketball game. Oh, well, all the niggas is hooping, and none of the fucking niggas is owners, and none of the niggas own no coaching shit. God damn, bro. So everything I mentioned, you're gonna fucking talk about race. Nothing is about race. Stop this race talk, man. Everything about race? Okay, let me just go home. I'm gonna go to sleep. Can that be about race? I'm just going home and going to sleep. Well, the last motherfucker that went to sleep had a dream, and his name was Martin Luther King, and y'all killed him. Wow. I'm done talking to you. I don't know how to fucking get through to you. That's basically what they want to tell us. The experiences that we have is making them so uncomfortable and so, I can't even believe this is why every time I mention this, nigga, I'm walking around with the trauma every day. We walking around with the trauma from our blood and our mitochondrial past keep in our systems of what happened. Then now today, And let me be clear on that. Hit the like button, show some love too, guys. Hit the super chat because we're going really deep into the conversation. The super thanks. We need support. We appreciate you. Black Outrage number 49. But let's go deeper into the conversation and talk about how easy it is for them to forget something, but they never are able to forget no crimes that any other culture do. When you go to these jails, some of these people become extremely deeply religious. They go in there and they start reading the Bible, they start reading the Quran. They change their lives to a level. Sometimes you see them and you just be like, nigga, you glowing. Like, what the fuck happened? You got in here and your whole fucking everything changed. It's like, yeah, if I had another chance, I'll be doing the right thing. They don't give a fuck. They be like, you in this bitch, your sentence said 2049. That's what the fuck day you get out of here. They don't never come back and say, yeah, you know what, it was tough. I know it was rough. That area you grew up in was so shitty and your parents was on drugs and you just finally tried to make it because you was adopted. They always be like you stuck. And I see your motherfucking ass in 47 years when my kid is in this motherfucker to see if you get to come home. That's the way it goes. So now slavery happened. We get to have the trauma from it as black folks. They bring a bunch of folks into the country and tell them what the fuck it was. All these other cultures get to walk around. Whoever the fuck culture they are, I don't give a damn what culture they are. They get to walk around in America and say nigga anytime they want to. They get to say, we can say it because, well, you say it in your music. Or we can say it, look at me, I grew up around nothing but black people. Well, we can say it, what the fuck are you talking about? My wife, man, we talk like that at home. At the end of the day, you get to do anything you want to. You get to even wipe the idea that slavery existed away when you feel like it. You get to just, we can't never even go to the Bank of America and say, hey, show me $100K. Just so I could goddamn it get my shit together, man. This slavery shit, it's been rough. Whatever, okay, you're right. Slavery did exist. It's just fucking not getting a job for 37 years. Can you fucking just give me a couple of dollars? Oh, y'all want a handout. It's black people who be saying the same shit. Oh, y'all want a handout. We'll give you some reparations. We got reparations in the form of education. What? So I got to go back to a white ass institution and sit in that motherfucker for weeks and months just to get a fucking check? I'm not even finished. I didn't get a job this goddamn long with degrees. How the fuck is a damn education from another white ass institution going to help me or my offspring? It's not. It's a waste of time. Give me dollars just like you got dollars. When you motherfuckers had slavery and you had motherfucking plantations, you wasn't selling the fucking cotton for education. They wasn't selling the fucking sugar or the tobacco for education. They were selling that shit for money. So that's what the fuck we want, to pay back a couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Not just one, not just Jay-Z, not just Michael Jordan, not just Oprah Winfrey, but all of us, all of the black motherfuckers, even the Junebugs and the man-mans who don't fit inside your culture, who ain't never coming to the restaurant dressed right, who ain't never coming to party with you motherfuckers, even them. They deserve that shit. All of us, the party motherfuckers at Carnival Cruise who don't sit down and dance and kick it how the fuck they want to. We all deserve it. We don't have to fit inside nobody's nothing to get shit because Trump and none of them ain't trying to fit inside our culture and our understanding. When they come take twerk, when they come take woke, when they come take something black and they gonna run over there with it, some TikTok dances from some young kids, they don't give a fuck. That's they shit from this point forward. They got country music, they got rock music. You don't see niggas over there saying, hey, y'all been over here performing our music and doing these dances. You need to come over here and cut us in. We invented that shit. You know you motherfuckers didn't invent this shit. They don't say that. They do a whole concert and do motherfucking awards about that bitch and just don't have you involved in it at all. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to let you just get rid of the slavery aspect of our history only because it make you feel uncomfortable. How uncomfortable was those black people standing out there in those motherfucking fields? How uncomfortable was those black people standing out there in the heat, in the hot shit, or watching somebody get beat up or slapped with the fucking whip and it's burning hot outside, sleeping in fucked up quarters where it's not even a bed. You know what I'm saying? It's just an upper spot off the ground, but it's muddy as hell in that bitch. Come on. You can't even imagine some of the shit them black people dealt with, having to deal with somebody else being in control of your life. It just don't even make no sense, but we ain't letting it go. Sticks and Coco said, get rid of the Holocaust Museum then. Right, let's see him do that. Let's see him do that. They'll never even question that shit. They'll never even talk like that. Leroy Beard said, black history is American history, and that's the super facts right there. And Tom said, reparations, that's funny. He said, no way they ain't doing that. And then we don't understand that too, Tom. I know most people believe that we are sitting over here really believing white people will give us like reparations. We know it's not going to happen. Our objective is to bring awareness to it, just like he's bringing awareness to stopping the museums that be having history in it. He's bringing awareness to that point. We're bringing awareness to reparations that it should have happened by now, and it should continue to always be getting ready to happen. It should always be good. Just like sometimes you watch the news and they all on that motherfucker talking about, oh, it's finna be a war. It might be happening. We need to every fucking weekend be saying, yeah, they finna give us reparations. We throwing reparations parties. We throwing reparation countdowns. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't never discouraged. We ain't never saying, oh, they didn't send the check, I guess. No, we doing it again next Friday, y'all. Come on, reparations countdown down here until that shit takes over the motherfucking country. They always trying to come and get the shit we got and try to make it seem like it's so cool. All of a sudden they found out about it and we didn't put the shit down and move the fuck on. So let's do some reparations parties until they start coming down there. And then you see white kids all on TV at their college dorms throwing reparation damn parties. We have to use our influence and our way of living and the fact that everybody want to be like us and act like us so we benefit from it. Not just giving out all our knowledge and information and then walking away like, damn, I guess they won't give us no award at they show. Hell with they fucking show. Make them imitate us to the fact that we benefit from it. Because everything that they imitate from us, we don't fucking benefit from. We don't benefit from music being sold. We don't benefit from being athletic and all that shit. We'll be like the guys who hoop do, but the rest of the cultures where they came from, you can look at any one of those basketball players or football players or whoever the hell they are, actors, where they came from back in their hometown, and it looked like the same way it was when they left that motherfucker. Nothing changed. Even though they got all this money and opulence that they live within, nothing changed from when they went back to. Let's go back to any one of those white people who in those sports games, where their neighborhood was. It's beautiful as hell. And if you go back to that motherfucker, it's probably all kind of home field offices and shit where they could bring the kids and play football with them, or basketball tournament shit can happen. We need that kind of shit in our culture, but not just for the kids to go and get more jobs in the NBA and the NFL, but maybe somebody could invent their own shit in our culture. We're the inventors. We literally are the inventors, but everything that we hold up in high regard is something that white people own. It's a mental psychology that it has to be changed. It has to at least be acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? And Ursa Major said, if we could speak English clearly, we could make them understand what the hell he's talking about. He said if he could speak English clearly, maybe he could understand what the hell he's talking about. Tom Wright said, right on, man. Listening post Ayer said, wearing that victim badge with honor. Don't man up and take charge of your own shit. Man, that dude crazy. All you gotta do is go down into prisons and see how many victims is down there. That's all you gotta do, bruh. Smoke said, yeah, sometimes you get tired of hearing that shit. Jack Torres, we are in a situation because of Garland didn't have him arrested for treason and indicted in insurrection. Well, Jack Torres said that. Jack said, after I got out the army, just like my dad, I was redlined, was only allowed to buy a house in a district they determined to be suitable for brown people. Yeah, so that's not just relegated to the black community. That thing is something that's out there for real. It's just the way that America works. A lot of times people try to not acknowledge it because it's uncomfortable to fight against white supremacy. It's not fun. It's not cool. You're not going to get no money from it. You're not going to really succeed. It's just something you got to do because it's in your heart. You have to speak up about it and make the shit be known. Listener said he needs to get the nurse braids out of his hair. Cultural appropriation. That's some crazy shit. Like, that was a good one, bro. I like that one. That was funny as hell. Hey, Badgley Baljeet said he needs to get the yam. Hey, y'all niggas need to go on tour, man. Y'all stupid as hell. Smoke said, much of this be cool, y'all. All right, later on, bro. Milton McNeil said, don't worry, eventually Trump will get to all the non-indigenous colonizers. He probably will. So he ain't slide. He ain't letting nobody off the hook. If he rocking with messing with black people, we just sitting up here being American citizens, working jobs, and he done found a way to make us be the enemy, it's definitely level. Alfred Fields III said, I was in the arts, math, and science, French, and Italian as a second and third language. You don't, bro. You probably gonna be teaching somebody in some school or some shit like that. But just make sure you keep teaching black history, even if you ain't black. Just make sure you know, because you like something black motherfuckers did, whether it was a song, some kind of game you into. So make sure that they know black history still need to have a place in America, whether you got it in a museum, whether a president understand it, because we don't think it should go. And everybody benefit from black culture. Everybody like it. Everybody enjoys what the hell black people give. But nobody believe that black people should get nothing for those things. They also believe that we should be like them. So if you came from another country to this country and you worked your butt off, you pulled your street up by the bootstraps, that's not what black people need to be doing or should be doing. We have our own plight. We have our own direction and our own demonstration that we're trying to accomplish. And that's what we have to stay on that path. whoever we are, and whichever one of us is doing that. So if you got a bunch of folks that's the Michael Jordans or whoever's, and they working for white folks in these particular companies or corporations, and they put up on a catapult or a steady pedestal of richness, and that's who you should be. That's not everything in America. That's not the only experience that America has to offer. It's other things. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be an inventor. You can be a great worker, but you can also be other things than just those things. And that's what we also have to focus our minds on when living inside this, because to delete the racism that they're trying to delete, it's just going to show up another way. It's going to show up in it's going to show up in the younger generation that's not even us. We might not even be here. And then they'll never even know this shit existed. Just like when I say that hip hop was always talking about blackness when I was a kid. You can't find that music today. They're not really playing that shit. I don't even know if it's on Spotify or any of those things. But that was the music. And it was just all the time. It was every fucking time you listened to music growing up. So, and it was most rap. It wasn't just singing people, singers and shit. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the rap songs. So where's that music at today? Where is it, like a oldie station or some shit where you could play, you just don't hear that. I remember coming up, they had an oldie station, they had a Quiet Storm station, they had a 50 station, they had a 70 station. You don't hear that old school rap of them talking about that black shit nowhere. No station, it ain't a fucking playlist. You just don't hear it. You know what I'm saying? So it's deleted, basically. So that'll be the same thing happening like this. That music is nothing you can find. You don't even remember the niggas who was singing and shit no more. They could be dying out today. What was their names? Like, who was them niggas? And they was playing mad music like that when I was growing up, and then it just stopped. You know what I'm saying? So let's get back to the conversation.
That's what makes us an exceptional nation, is because they tell the history and the story of our country, and therefore, these horrible, horrific moments in our history. The original sin, as Abby talked about, when it comes to slavery, has, we of course did eradicate it, but look where we've come today. And I think those museums, like to your point, make America exceptional, and the museums all around the world that document atrocities, whether it be, from Nazi Germany to eradicating slavery here in the United States, you have to learn the lessons of the past, and to deny it is to defend it.
I don't think he's denying it, and Butch, you may want to comment on this as well, but I think what he wants to ask is a simple question. As we present our history, are we spending most of our time focused on something terrible? Are we going to spend more time, as we enter our 250th anniversary, focused on what this country has done to improve the lives of every single person who lives here? We are the light of the world for a reason, because we're an improved commodity.
The question I ask when I hear you say that is, why? I mean, the idea that slavery happened, it's hard to understand what we've overcome if you don't even talk about what it was. I think that kind of waters down the whole.
I don't think anybody's proposing that we ignore that it happened.
I think that the problem is that there are people, and Scott used the term a couple of times, and I don't think it was meant with any type of ill intent, but he said, we got over it. And I think that's the problem. I think that there are a lot of people in this country who believe that for some reason we got over it. I mean, the fact is that American chattel slavery is vastly different than what Jillian Michaels and others talk about when they talk about slavery around the world. I mean, the chattel slavery system that we had was extremely traditional. It was actually codified in law, and it was based upon the color and race, as you so eloquently pointed out in your opening. And so not only when you think about that portion of where we are, 26 of our first 30 Supreme Court justices owned slaves. The people who are on our money every single day owned slaves. United States presidents, members of the United States Congress owned slaves. Lehman Brothers, we're not far from Wall Street, owned slaves. Brooks Brothers suits that we wear owned slaves. So not only are we talking about the epicenter and the foundation of where our country was built, we have to acknowledge that. But even more importantly, and this is where I believe that Scott and I can find agreement on this issue. Breon and Megan Walker, two of my best friends in the world, their dad was the first African-American SGA president at the University of South Carolina, right? He was an exec at IBM, but he was one of the first, right? We're still talking about first that emerged and stood on those shoulders. I tell the story often about my mom and dad. My mom helped desegregate high schools. In Hamilton High School in Memphis, Tennessee, my dad shot in the Orangeburg Massacre. This is a part of my story. This isn't some faint, distant history. And so the reason I bring that up is because I think that American exceptionalism talks about the fact that black folk help, enslaved folk help build this country for what it is. They built Washington, D.C. But all of us are around this table. Abby, myself, all of us, not just Abby and myself, all of us are around this table because of the sacrifices and the blood and the sweat and the tears these people poured in.
I also come back to
And that's some deeply historical shit right there. All the history that's known or is known has been taught to us from white people. You think about that. All the history of blackness, all the history of blackness has really been taught to us by white folks. They were the ones who owned the pens. They the ones who owned the books. They the ones who understood English, who was able to teach the black folks or write down the messaging that came from the black people. Now it's black people who wrote books and shit like that at that time, but you would have to really be hard pressed to find them because the white companies is the ones who actually publish them. So you're inside of a country or inside of a location where everything is controlled by other people. So you're not going to necessarily find your spot of it's just not like that. You know what I'm saying? My boy about Jeet say everybody should be able to say the N word. Can Trump say the N word? I bet you Trump say the N word every few days, if not every day. And listening to post, he said, if you didn't call out the liberal pedos, you don't get to call out anyone else. You don't get to stand on your moral soapbox because you like the guy. Yeah, that's what old boy doing, trying to act like he speaking for Trump. What's up, DBL? Yeah, so we're going crazy. Crypto Billy said anything to avoid the fact that he's a pedo. I don't know. I don't even know who that dude was. Alfred Fitz. I was in. Okay, I read that one. Yep. So we just going through the message, guys. I see the votes coming in. Keep the votes coming, guys. We got the votes rocking in crazy right now. We appreciate the votes. It looks like it's a 76 to 24% on everybody's. Is Trump wrong for dissing slavery? And people with 76% says yes. So that lets you know that the people just don't like that. You know what I mean? People do have their feeling and friendships with black people. So come on, don't diss us to try to put your move forward or something like that. Help us, support us. That's what we asking for with the reparations, because that would absolutely help many black people. And if you want to give them education and all these other things, do it. What's wrong with that? Basically, open America up to the black people. That's really what needs to happen. They have to still, not to this day, opened up the sting to black people. They haven't opened up America to black people, in my opinion. They just refuse to do it. You know what I'm saying? Ozzy Crosby. But the Democratic Party is trying to hide their horrific past and trying to say that the party switched sides. Yeah, I don't rest with the Democratic Party. And nobody deserves. He said nobody deserves reparations. I don't know about that, Ozzy. You know, we ain't gonna come a channel like this and ever get nobody like me to agree with that. Because if that's the case, then nobody deserves to benefit from the things that black people built into this country. We'll take all that shit back. And then you guys go and build the hell you want to. You got technology, you got coding, you can do it. But if that was the case, elevators would be gone, refrigerators would be gone, refrigerated trucks would be gone, fucking shoes would be gone. Just so much shit, just that black people invented. And so if we don't get reparations for the fact that white people could come in there and own your, white people could come in there and they could own your trademark or your patent because they owned you. So that's obviously gonna make our race be like, hey, what the fuck? But that's the way America was set up. So if I owned you, you invented this thing, I get to own it and the trademark of it for the rest of the history because I owned you. So yeah, you might not understand that because your culture and your people didn't go through that. But that's something that black people went through. And that was the things that was invented and is still in use today. Like the fucking iron, like the goddamn, the ironing board. Just, it's so much stuff that black people invented. It's not even real. And the idea that we don't, or some black people, or no black people deserve something like that is just fucking horrifically stupid. It's dumb. Ozzy said, why should I have to pay something for something that happened 200 years ago, and you should benefit from it? Well, that's easy to understand because you benefit correctly and consistently right now from the slavery that happened, and you're going to always benefit from it because you being from the dominant race, nobody has ever went against them and said, yo, this isn't right. Everyone benefits from it. Those neighborhoods that you live in, black people built them. It's called the suburbs. White folks wasn't building shit. Even just taking care of the babies to get you motherfuckers to be grown-ups. Those are black women in those homes, feeding you, warming up the bed, doing these things. This is what you call slaves. Any fucking thing I want done, you do it. And it's not like you're going to get some money in the future. You're going to be free one day. They never thought about it like that. They just was like, I own you. Do what the fuck I'm saying do. And that's what happened. So now that there is a time where things became a freedom, there also has to be a recompense. There has to be a reparation. There has to be a repayment for the time and the things that happen. Those things happen regardless if we accept it or want to or not. And when a person say, why should I have to pay for it? Again, you're benefiting from it. You're benefiting from it whether you understand that you're benefiting from it or not. It's just the way the world works. The fact that you benefit from it. The fact that there is a police, the fact that there is a police, which means that the black people can't come down to your crib and come take the shit that they want from you. The fact that there is a police is because of slavery. Because in order for them to go and try to grab black people and bring them back to slavery, they had to invent a fucking militia of white people. And then instead of calling them militia, they called them police. They deputized white people and said, you're going to be the people who go in here and check up on these black folks and control what's going on over there. And that's what happened. And when they went and did such a thing, they went over there, invented the police. So that's another way where you benefit from blackness and slavery, because the police stop people from running up in your crib and saying, what the fuck you mean we don't deserve no reparations? I bet you can't stop me from taking your shit. Because this is easy for you to call the police and say, hey, this black motherfucker from a black outrage show is at my goddamn house taking shit. And they're going to pull up over there and be like, come your black ass out the fucking house right now. And send a dog to chew my motherfucking leg off if I stand by. Nah, fuck that. I'm standing this bitch. No, you can't do that. So this is the reason, and many thousands more ways where people benefit from slavery. And I'm just one person telling you, I'm not as astute as many other people in the idea of it. I'm just an artist, but I do know of it, and I've learned it. And my parents, come on, the historical facts, I could teach more than a lot of motherfuckers couldn't even know. But that's just me. But I never would agree that you can give us some goddamn, what did they say, school or some shit like, hey, hell no. Let me see. Why should I pay for it? Ozzy said, no, all slaves were black. He said, not all slaves were black. There were more slaves today than there were before the Civil War. I don't know about that, bro. All this motherfucking knowledge y'all niggas pop out with, I can't know what the fuck it is. But look, do this for me. Hit the like button, hit the super chat, share the love, share the message. We rocking out over here, Black Outrage 49. Trump wants to end slavery. Listen, hook me up, show some love, guys. We talking really deep into the conversation, and we still going strong. So John said, what part of slavery is RT? I don't know what the fuck RT stand for, bro. Chris Johnson, yes, I understand your idea, but why is everything you are arguing of black people coming in to take things? Okay, he came so far into the message so far, bro. You got to be into the message a lot earlier, my nigga. Come on, Chris. You used to do this in school. Now, I understand y'all talking about math, but why 2 and 2 got to do something with each other? Well, get your ass to the damn message earlier, nigga. Chris Johnson said, no, I want to see your viewpoint. I mean, I understand what you're saying, bro, but you got to make a donation to the homie, because I can't sit up here and go back into these viewpoints for motherfuckers because you're coming in late. You got to hit the super chat. It says it right there. Keep the show going. Show some love to your homie, man, because you'll be digging into my brain patterns and shit to get to some old conversation I had about 5 minutes ago. Thomas Chapman, I feel it should be unsettling to all oppressed people. Imagine the uproar you have to be told to Jewish people, we're not going to be a teacher in the Holocaust and get over it. Well, that's exactly the whole point. When it's the other cultures, there's a standard that will not be disrespected. And that's the reason why people want to use weak conversation by saying, oh, black person, you're a victim. We don't even have anything to control. We don't even have anything to put out and say, this is our thing. You know what I'm saying? We basically are inside a culture. We're a nation inside of a nation. When I was a kid, Public Enemy had a rap. They had a rap album. I think it was the album. I had to be a teenager in high school, and it was an album. And I forgot if this was the name of the album or the name of a song, because I'm like 15 at this time. And it was like, it take a nation of millions to hold my people back. And for years, I never understood that. I just thought it was the name of an album. I probably was about 20-something when I finally understood what he was saying. They used to say it a lot, so it wasn't like the name of the album. It could have been a verse. It could have been something. You would hear it all the time. It used to be like, it takes a nation of millions to hold my people back. It takes a nation of millions to hold my people back. And so this would be a statement that you would hear, and I never could get that. I never understand what the fuck it meant. So I got older, and then I heard it again. It take a nation of millions to hold my people back. And I said, God damn, I get that shit now. So basically, black people could be so much more. It could be doing so much more things, but it takes a nation of Caucasians to stop you, to block you, to have institutions, to make some kind of reparations, make you feel like a victim, do all this shit. Talk about you need bootstraps. They the only ones that got job and hiring power. They the only ones who you could buy a house from. They the only ones that you could anything. If you want a job, you gotta go through white people. If you want a house, you gotta go through white people. If you want to fly around, you gotta go through. If you want to get on a fucking boat, you gotta go through white people. But anytime somebody mention those things, you're being a victim. You're being all that's dumb. It's like you basically have to talk to idiots in order for you to. It's like talking to a 4-year-old baby, and they're trying to get them to understand what you're dealing with in life with bills and kids and mama and whatever. So it's like you can't talk to dummies and expect them to understand it. You can make them understanding it by talking about other people who don't play that. So again, the Jewish people, they don't play that. So if you play with them with their Holocaust, you play with them, they will fucking shoot the shit out of you. They don't play that. You can't come to their party next week and come dancing to some black music, to some Jewish music because you feel like it. No, you disrespect them and say that they don't deserve their own nation. You disrespect them and say that they don't deserve their own freedoms. They're going to come and fuck over you, and your job going to get rid of your ass. Black people don't have those powers. We're not your boss. You don't work for us. We don't have hiring power. We don't own the boats. We don't own the planes. We don't own none of this shit. So you can diss us. You can say nigga. You can do anything you want to do. The government got the gun set up. So if I run up on you, you can shoot me. They're gonna put me in jail. It's nothing. Black people are literally powerless across the board. So that's why it's so easy to diss us and say these things and be verbally negative, because we don't have the power. But if we had the power to get you to lose your job, if we had the power to make sure you didn't get hired, I'm talking about the real power, like white people power, which means 15 years down the line, you still ain't working. I ain't talking about you lost your job and then, well, your brother-in-law got you another job. No, I'm talking about 15 years down the line, your ass ain't working. You either stood outside on the street to hustle or you fucking perished. That's what the black race is. Not this bullshit phasmical, well, I'm done, let me go to work tomorrow. No, it's no job, period. It's never one coming, and it's not just you. It's 50, 60, 70 motherfucking, not people, neighborhoods like that. 50, 60, 70 fucking neighborhoods just like that. Ain't a nigga getting a dime unless a white person give it to him. And if you walking in there and you look like me or you talk like me, a white person ain't finna give you shit, because they gonna look around and the other white people gonna say, why the fuck would you get this motherfucker a chance? You know we don't like them like that. So it's a certain kind of black person that they'll get. Matter of fact, one that looks like this guy. And they'll let him in. They'll say, come on, come over here and talk your shit. But he got to speak a certain way. He got to handle himself a certain way. He got to talk within the practices that they accept and agree with. Or your ass ain't going to have no message that you can get out, because don't nobody want to hear it. They want to feel like you're a victim. You better be the Jewish motherfucker if somebody want to hear your voice, because don't nobody want to hear that shit if you're not. And we all know that too. So that's why you still have to speak on it, because it's a double-edged sword. It's phony. It's phony. That dude named Bakari Sellers, Bakari, what's his name again? Bakari Sellers or some shit. Let me look at his name again so I know. I think it's Sellers. Yeah, Bakari Sellers. That dude is like, he the one that's on here talking his shit, and that's who we listening to. I guess this is actually his YouTube channel. I really don't know, but I heard his name before. So that's why I thought to listen to this particular video. Hit the like button, guys. Show some love in the comment section. What's up? We need the donations coming in. My donations is dry, and I'm up here talking that good shit to y'all. I'm even reading every single message. I know y'all ain't treat me like this. I know y'all ain't treat me like this. Reading all the men. Some motherfuckers don't even read the message until y'all show some love on it. People be trying to act really weird, man. Don't act weird like that over at Black Outrage, because I'm gonna talk about you. I'm gonna talk about you. All of y'all, everybody. All right, let's read some more messages. Thomas Chapman, I feel it should be unsettling for all oppressed people. Imagine the uproar would have. Okay, I read that one. Ozzy said, you're not a victim. Ozzy Crosby said, stop acting like one. Thomas Chapman said, well said. Melissa said, Saint Justy, I like that name. She said, Ozzy Crosby, we never said we're a victim, but we sure know our oppressor. That's such a dope ass point right there. That's it. And I always say this, Melissa, to people that try to claim that black people are acting as victims. I said it's always a victimizer who can tell you what the victim is doing. Notice that. It's always the victimizer who can describe to you what the victim is going through, because that person actually is the victimizer. They come from that lineage. They come from that understanding. They come from that framework, that mindset. I have to be a victim, then you must be the victimizer, because why couldn't I talk about the things that I've dealt with, or the things that affect me, or things that affect my people? It's not a victim behavior to describe what's going on in our culture, describe what goes on in our culture by the other culture's admission or their positioning. We should definitely talk about it. That's actually therapeutic, to not let it just occur around you and then you walk around and say, oh, well, I guess I'm Mum's the word my ass. You crazy? So Virgil said, you're a minority of, so you're a minority. What you expect? That's a good way of putting it. If you put it like that, then the goddamn podcast is over because that's really the whole hour and a half right there. You know, pretty much the whole goddamn thing right there. But we're gonna try to keep the conversation going. Let's try to bypass what Virgil said, y'all, because Isaac Crosby, he said, I can show you an actual face of oppressors, but they can't oppress you unless you let them. Now that is some bullshit. I fuck with Ozzy though because he really heavy handed on the comments, but that's bullshit because that's like saying that's basically Kanye West's statement. Slavery was a choice. Nobody is walking outside trying to be victimized. Nobody is believing that they're going to be victimized. Nobody even want that shit to happen. Nobody is thinking that that's going to happen. You don't wake up in the morning and say, okay, let me go deal with this racism today. Nobody does that. You just walk outside and you believe the sun and the moon and the stars is going to line up perfectly for you like it does for everybody else. It's not until you go through the experiences that you start being like, this is some bullshit, man. Like, what the fuck is this all about? Why am I experiencing this? This is when it really start making a matter for you. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Huh, who is that? Oh, that's our boy Brian Sellers, Bakari. Ozzy Crowder said, so what makes you a victim? You're being lied to. Ozzy said, Melissa said that I was her oppressor. I'm not oppressing anybody. But we know individual. That's the idea of white supremacy. Ozzy, come on, man. That's the idea of white supremacy. You can't pinpoint it to one guy or one girl. That's the whole idea. It's called a system of white supremacy. It's not a white supremacist. So that's, you know that. Come on, we talking all this stuff. But thanks for the comments because that's keeping the message going. And why don't you throw a donation in for your homeboy? Do something like that since I'm reading your messages nonstop. Steve O'Stoner, what's up? He said, what Virgil said is not valid. White supremacy is a global problem, and we are the minority in the world. 90% of the world is melanated, and that's facts. Now there you go. We might be a little bit more of the numbers here in America, but the world is melanated. That's facts. I mean, they have a white psychology and mentality, but other people can't even have that because the whiteness is so strict that it's no end for you. You know, you can't just go marry a white person. Now all of a sudden you white too. You can't just be, get some level at a job or some high end career and now all of a sudden you white too. It don't work like that. You would still go through the same shit that anybody else would go through. Ozzy Crowder say we have the black Supreme Court justices. He's an Uncle Tizzle though, so we don't rock with dude. He said there are black governors. They probably Uncle Tizzles too. There are black mayors. They Uncle Tizzles too. That's what it is, bro. In order for you to get inside those jobs, you got to pull out your Uncle Tom jacket and you gotta hold that down. And that's just, I ain't making that up. That's just the facts of the game. You gotta pull it out. And that's what people want to see from you. So give me a break, guys. We got to take a break. I need to take a breather. I think y'all guys going to support me when I get back. It should be some donations and all that shit in the chat. You might want to cop one of the shirts. Show some support. Let me take a break real quick. I shall return in 3 minutes. All right, y'all, we back. We back at it. We are back at it. So, welcome back to the show. I'm your boy Hood. This is Black Outrage number 49. And we are talking about Trump and his antics. Let me check my sound. My sound is back working good. We got Ozzy Crosby. He going crazy. He said, wow, delusional. Ozzy Crosby says, sir, you're saying Obama is an Uncle Tom, a duper Uncle Tom. You got to put them adjectives on there. You cannot get away with saying Barack Obama without saying super duper. Uncle Tom. You gotta come on, keep it going. Let's make it sure you know I'm gonna claim it for Sheezy. He's an Uncle Tizzle, and you can see it all over the internet today where they show him making sure he does nothing for black people. There's a video swirling where he says the video is like at his time as the president, and it shows him saying, I almost want to show that fucking video. That's just it's so horrible to me as a black person. But again, it's okay to diss black people. So I'm not supposed to have a heart about that. I'm not supposed to have no feelings about that. Barack, how you spell his damn name? Obama. How would I say that? Doing for Indians. Let's see if that'll bring up that video, cause that shit viral as hell. But we'll see if that come. I don't know how to write it in there. But that's basically what it was. A video coming out showing that he was only going to help Native Americans. That's what he was saying. Not Indian people. Let's say Native Americans. He was basically saying, the guy was interviewing him saying, hey, you're the president right now. You could just do something for black people. He said, oh, America doesn't work like that. The presidency doesn't work like that. And then in the video clips now, you show him doing all this stuff for the other Indian people and other cultures. And it's like, wait a minute. What is he doing? Like, he making sure that he was doing. I can't find that clip. It was a short video. It was on TikTok or some shit. I'm thinking it was gonna be on YouTube too. But you'll see that video. It just shows his hypocrisy towards black people. He made sure he did something. Every time it would cut back to him saying, I can't do anything for black people. The presidency don't work like that. Then it cut right back to him saying, we're doing something for the Indian people this time, and we're supporting them. We're giving this amount of money. And then it cut right back to him saying, I can't do anything for black people. The presidency don't work like that. Then it cut back to him saying, this year we're celebrating the Indians because, and I'm thinking like, what the fuck wrong with this nigga? He refused to do something for black people. And then you see Trump coming there and do anything he fucking want to do for his people. So he was calling Uncle Tom to another level. Like, he just even came out recently talking about something about you should have a gay father or uncle around your kids. Something weird. This nigga's a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what that is. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, I don't ever mention that goofy ass nigga because he's a straight clown.
I dare you.
A super duper clown, as I said. Let's make sure we got that going. All right, I'm gonna let old boy Bakari Sellers tell us a little bit more about the conversation. I see everybody is still making the votes come in crazy. Hit the votes, guys. I see the votes is coming in crazy.
I want to introduce you to this platform
Let me
Why?
hold up. We got somebody talking. We got somebody talking. Shut up. So old girl is back talking to the lady that we had speaking earlier. But I also want to see is there any other conversations about this. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to my YouTube. But let me know what y'all got going on because we are definitely talking about the issues over here, Black Outrage, the stuff that matters, the stuff that is going to last, kind of lasting conversations, you know what I'm saying? Let me see, Trump. Black Smithsonian. And that's European. The Smithsonian Museum, that's European shit. So the fact that black people even care about that is like ridiculous.
On your side tonight.
The Smithsonian is created by Europeans in America. That's some shit, and we up here supposed to concern ourselves about their historical facts about our history. It behooves me. Behooves me. Be fucking me. But keep the votes coming in, guys. I appreciate the votes. And we got our shirt in there too, man. Support us on the shirt. Here it is right here in the flesh. This is how it's going to look. We got other products too, but this is the one we supporting y'all, asking y'all for support from. Hit the super chat, hit the super thanks, hit the votes. Let's go. Hit the like button too. And I don't know if you're going to see somebody in this video.
The
Let's see.
Smithsonian's National Zoo. Let's
Oh, okay, no, that's National Zoo. That's the wrong part. We're looking for black people. Not no damn zoo. Says too woke. The zoo is too woke.
To talk about the history of our country.
Hold up, let's do it. Let's do it like this. All right, I found one. Let's get to it. Hit the like button, guys. Show some love. Ozzy Crosby said, "How about Thomas Sowell? How have you ever listened to him? Hell no." But I know who he is, but I would never listen to nobody like that. Vladimir P said, "Trump still first. Number one that stated, we are the indigenous Indian." He was the first one that stated, we are the indigenous Indians. Well, I mean, you know a lot about Trump, man. You know what I'm saying? It says, so you just want the free stuff because you feel entitled that you shouldn't have to work. Shouldn't have to work. Why the hell would I have to work for somebody? That also is a sick mentality. Because you started a corporation that compels me to have to work for you. And if I don't, then I'm not American. What? Like, we all came out of vaginas, my brother. If you came out of one and I came out of one, what the hell make you think the one you came out of should compel me to have to work for you or under you or believe that you create some shit that I'm supposed to be employed behind? What? The only reason and the only way white people were able to sustain slavery, and a lot of ways that they sustain America today, is through violence. So let's not be crazy and start trying to talk about somebody's aptitude and work ethic when it's violence that's effective. Even when you're a young man, when I was growing up at 19, 20, living in Chicago, you couldn't just walk down the street. You couldn't just go for a walk. You know, all that jogging shit that you see today, you couldn't do no shit like that when we was coming up because the police swooping on you. Four in a car deep, searching the shit out you, putting you to the damn ground just to find nothing on you. Then you jump back in the fucking car and grab somebody else. You couldn't go jogging and shit, all that shit you see today, walking dogs and all that dumbass shit. That shit didn't even fucking exist. It literally didn't even fucking exist. Because if you outside, they were swooping on you. And I know that not happened to y'all. It wouldn't have happened where you from. It didn't happen to you. So you wouldn't look at somebody that happened to and say, well, shit, don't be a victim. But what the fuck? Then arrest me if you're going to pull me the fuck over and stop my impede the shit out of me, search the fuck out of me for nothing. What the hell are you looking for? That's normal practice when you're black. That's normal practice when you're young. So what the fuck you talking about? Black people shouldn't have a gripe. People sound dumb. I swear to God, it's almost like you're talking to idiots. It's like the motherfuckers don't have the same mental aptitude to even be in a conversation about some shit like that. It's ridiculous to me.
In a fair manner.
The White House American
Don't play with me on the commercials. Let's go.
history.
They're not in a woke manner.
President Trump continuing his attacks on the Smithsonian, a collection of world-renowned American museums. In a post on his social media platform, the president writing, "The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future." Those comments sparking a backlash from political opponents.
Who is this guy? Is he a publicist for slavery? Like a lobbyist on behalf of like slavery? It doesn't make any sense that he would want to erase one of the ugliest things that's ever happened in America.
This month, the White House launched a review of the museums, investigating their displays, curation process, and narrative standards ahead of the nation's 250th birthday. In a letter to the Smithsonian, the White House writing in part, "By focusing on Americanism, the people, principles, and progress that define our nation, we can work together to renew the Smithsonian's role as the world's leading museum institution." Meanwhile, critics accusing the president of trying to whitewash dark chapters in American history.
If we don't recognize the full history, then we are doomed to repeat it.
We want the museums to talk about the history of our country in a fair
And
manner.
I think they know just that by erasing it and at least getting one generation not to remember it, then they can repeat that shit. It's all about control. So if they could just get anybody to be like, that didn't happen, or y'all victims, man. Y'all always complaining. Why the fuck every time we turn around, it's you keep complaining? Stop. Just shut up about it. And then they play some bullshit. Again, now they can come steal anything from you because you don't even know you've been stolen from before. You don't even know that the reason you're the thing that you're talking about is exactly what the fuck they actually utilize on a daily basis. The thing that you put down, the thing that you don't care about no more. Like, look at Motown. I remember the guy who owned Motown. His name was Barry Gordy. And some white, and I don't remember the numbers exactly, so don't quote me on the numbers on this. But they came to Barry Gordy and they was like, "Yo, we want to buy your record company. You know, you have all these black people, the history of your music," and this before streaming was kicking off. So he was like, "Bet." What got? They told us that 40 million, 60 million, whatever. He like, "Hell yeah, give me that shit." Then the nigga who bought it from him, he went and sold that motherfucker for 300 million. So they came back to dude and said, "Damn, nigga, you could have sold it to dude for 300 million. Why you selling for 60? He's like, "I ain't know that motherfucker. I only knew him. So he has 60. That's good for me." If he sold that motherfucker for whatever else, that's on him. But I don't know that nigga. So why would they want to come buy his motherfucking catalog? Well, now streaming is here, and that music, his catalog, let's say he had 10,000 songs. Let's say he said 500 songs. That music is going to be paying whoever bought that shit forever. To my forever. Somebody gonna be riding down the street playing these old dusties and these old music from the past, and that person gonna continue to eat. So they could easily come scam you as a black person and get you to not know that you could get more for what the fuck you got, because just the people who approach you gonna come low, and you don't even know the value of it yourself because you can't make 50 million come out of it. You can't make 300 million come out of it. He owned this shit since he invented this shit back in the day. So now you own it up to now, and there's no streaming at this point, and it's like we still got to go press up all these CDs and mixtapes and shit to fucking put our music out. But somebody gonna come to me and give me 30 million, 50 million off the jump. It's my thing. I own this shit. You know what? Sell this shit. I'm out. Then he go buy a bunch of Bitcoin, be broke as hell too. But the whole objective is he made his money off the top. Don't have to think about that thing no more. And now that streaming is in, they upload every one of them goddamn songs and they sit back and just eat. They don't have to have a 9 to 5, like, or nobody they know need to work. You can just assign songs to your nephews and nieces. Okay, you graduated from college, let me give you 12 songs. You too, you got your degree. Okay, let me give you 15 songs. And they can just sit back and have money coming in every month from those kind of owner things. But we don't see those. We can't know the future. You don't know what the hell's coming out, what thing is going to come and be created. But the idea is your success level is by either your proximity to whiteness or how much money we're giving you. So that's how you determine your success in the black race. How close are you to white folks, or how much money are they giving you? Not what you created, not what you built, not the institution that you came up with, but what white people helped you get by what they gave you. And that's the only way we could determine your success level in the black culture. Let's get back to the message, y'all. I'm going to hit this video, and we're going to let this guy break it down. Look like Spike Lee got something to say about this whole message. So hit the like button, guys. Show some love. We had our super chats over there. I think y'all didn't support me at all. It broke my heart. You're making me cry on the inside. So I need to see, is anybody going to show me some love on the super chat? We got 25 seconds left on it, and it's gone. It's gone. Y'all don't want to help keep the show going? Y'all sitting over here watching the show, kicking it with me, but don't nobody want to help keep the show going. What's going on? Help me keep the show going. Hit the like button too, guys. I'm gonna restart my super chat to see if anybody want to support us in 2, 1, and boom, it ended. It ended after an hour. Nobody showed love. Nobody showed love. So let's try it again. I'm gonna give y'all one more chance at this and see if anybody want to show some love to the bro on the super chat. We'll just do a 15-minute one right now, because it don't look like y'all like this show. Y'all just come over here to rock out, but you ain't really come support me and keep it going. I see the votes is all going crazy too. The votes is, man, so many votes came in. This is probably the biggest voted show I ever had. But I see nobody wants to show no support on this show, and it's breaking my heart, man. Like, damn, it's breaking my heart. We're gonna go with a $10 offer this time, because maybe the $5 offer is too low. Y'all got them deep pockets. Y'all got dope. Y'all got real money. I can't play with y'all talking about some $5. Looking at me like, what is this nigga talking about? Man, get out of here with that. You know what? That ain't. Let's go with the dub. Let's dub it out. We're gonna 20 it up, because that's how much my products be costing when I be doing my thing. Dorsey say, stop begging. Get your goofy ass out my channel. It's my begging. Look at them numbers I've been up here talking. Get out of here, goof. Don't ever play with me like I listen to goofies like you. Let me get Dorsey out of here for disrespecting a player. You go over there to somebody else's channel and tell them about your positions, because you sound like a lame over here. Goodbye. Don't ever disrespect me, Dorsey. Go disrespect your mama. If you want to come over here talking that, because we work over here. This is time right here. We grinding. So we're going to get right back to the message, guys. Let me get my video ready right here, and then we're going to talk about it. Let me know what's going on with y'all. I appreciate y'all staying with the show, Black Outrage number 49. So let's get with the conversation. Oh, wait a minute. I was supposed to show Spike Lee, I think. I don't think I showed Spike yet, right? Yep, here it is. Here we go, the Spike message. Let's see what Spike Lee got to say. I heard about this, but this is our chance. We're going to listen to it together. Let's go. Uh-oh, I'm having a sound problem. Let's get with the sound. Okay, why is my sound tweaking?
Some of the top museums in the country.
We want the museums to...
President Trump is defending his review of some of the top museums in the country.
We want the museums to treat our country fairly. We want the museums to talk about the history of our country in a fair manner, not in a woke manner or in a racist manner.
Director Spike Lee has items featured at several Smithsonian museums, and we recently linked up to talk about his latest film, Highest to Lowest, I asked him what he thought the goals of this review are.
To roll back the clock. To roll back the clock. And what's interesting is that the world leaders, they know what's going on here too. The citizens of the world know what's happening here in the United States, formerly the so-called beacon of democracy. It don't look like that now.
And you don't think America is still the beacon of democracy?
You know, you gotta choose countries or people, individuals by their actions. And I don't think that the actors now in this administration show that doesn't look like the beacon of democracy. Beacon of democracy to me, in my opinion.
So that's Spike right there telling us about how that cannot be the beacon of democracy the way Trump is trying to get rid of black history. Black history has just been one of those things that has lasted in the country forever because of what they have been dealt with. Even the Revolutionary War talk about Crispus Attucks, the black guy who was the first person who got murdered in that particular war, the Revolutionary War. So it's like, this is just historical fact. I think that's in 1700s or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So from the 1700s to today, that's 500 years of just black people being in this country, not getting the respect they deserve, and thinking that it's okay to disrespect us and continue to do that. It's just nobody's gonna fall for that. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a voice, or you have to be wanting to have a voice. You have to want to have a voice in order for you to be out there. I'm not gonna let this other guy talk. I don't like that goofy.
Well,
But
the museums did.
he's talking about putting all these museums under review. But like I would say, I don't think that those museums should represent black people at all because they're not owned by black and they wasn't created by blacks. And that's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Steve O'Stoner said, this is Black History Museum made by Tariq Nasheed, a black man with real history and artifacts. No government involved established this venue. Yeah, that's true. I heard about that one. Yeah. The Hidden History Museum. See, now those are the type of things that need to be something that we actually catapult and put up on a pedestal, not some Smithsonian shit. That's ridiculous to even care about something like that. It's like, who cares what they got going on? You know what I'm saying? Because again, if somebody that's racist could come and affect it, then it should mean no never mind to us. It literally should be zero in our thinking. It should be like, oh, that exists. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Because somebody else can control that. Somebody else has control over that. And that's not us, the ones who actually are the people who's been showcased in it. Our culture, our history, our people, our families, our lineage. They have museums of all these cultures, boy. I don't care where you go. They even got consulates for all these cultures. There's no black consulates around the entire America, around the entire nations. No nation has a black consulate. You're not going to have nothing happen to you in some country and then you can go call some black people. You literally got to call some white people and you're a black person. If something happened to you in another country, there is no black consulates. There is no black people who can go defend you or speak on your behalf. All these things are set up by design, meaning that you're the kept. You're even a person that's in this country, whoever they are, whatever their culture is, I don't care, name it, you put a culture behind them, whoever they are. All of them came from a homeland, an old country, an old home, from Italy to Europe to Africa, you name it. All of them, whoever is in America. It's only black people who do not have a consulate in these countries or in any country. We have to go through white people and say, hey, this happened, I'm trying to get this accomplished. We go through Caucasians. We're the kept. We're the kept. Any other these other people, they can call, they name their country. They country got Chinese consulate, they got Chinese, all this stuff. Every other culture, not the blacks. Why? Why is that? Why don't even look at that? Why isn't that a rap song? Why isn't that a movie? Where is the first black consulate? It don't exist. And that's some historical shit. That's a historical fact that nobody ever want to fucking look at and think about. Where's the first black consulate? It's quiet. It's like, what the fuck is that? It's like, why would there even be one? We're the kept. So we have to go to white people. But if you, another culture, El Salvadorian, if you Nigerian, if you fucking from somewhere in Europe, you got one. It's a fact. So when we bring these things up, it's not to make everybody go dumb and deaf and be like, ooh, I don't, you know. Well, let me Google it. No, it's the facts. You don't have to Google it. You ain't never heard of it. You know what I'm saying? So these things is something we've been trained to go vote and go keep somebody in office like that who can work on our behalf. Still, even to leave the country, you have to go through all these rules and regulations with the passports, and then even, it's just more shit than you could even imagine being the kept. So the captives in these museums, and they's telling you, we're tired of keeping your ass. Look, we've been keeping y'all, if you think about it, for years. We built the museum. It's our fucking museum. We're tired of that shit. We gotta walk in our museum and think about me killing you. Yeah, I stabbed my grandparents, stabbed the shit out of him. Ooh, that was fucked up weekend. I don't want to see that shit no more. I get it. So we shouldn't rely on somebody else to keep our history and tell our history, because that lies the problem. That is the stupidity of the problem right there, to make people think that they're going to keep our history and teach us what we should be coding up as some kind of respectability. And it makes no sense. To me, it makes zero sense. So as far as the votes go, it looked like our votes is coming in at 75-25, and it's still in a heavy direction of, yes, is Trump wrong for dissing slavery? And most people in the comments believe yes in that regard. You know, he's not right for what he's doing, and bringing the claims that he's claiming, and thinking that deleting Black history is going to be something that's going to be respected or understood. It's crazy. I'll let this dude talk. Now he sound goofy. I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear that dude talk. We done heard Trump say it like 3 times now, so I don't want to hear his ass say it no more. But I'm gonna let this other guy talk on Bakari Sellers' show, and he could give us some more insight about it. But what's this guy saying? Donald Trump established an attack on him. Mr. Flores said he was too focused on highlighting. This is a news story right here, but
Trump is taking.
He might could give us some little convo. Let's see what dude got to say right here. Thank y'all for watching this far into the show. We appreciate you. Mad appreciate you. We appreciate you. This is Black Outrage 49. We're going strong. We appreciate everybody coming in here. Hit the like button. Definitely keep the votes coming. The poll is rocking. Y'all running up the poll so crazy. It's like, oh my God. So let's get back to the show. I appreciate y'all guys. We're going right to it. Let's go.
Issue with how slavery is depicted at museums here in the. It is a far different tone than he struck 8 years ago when he first came to the White House.
It's a new, beautiful Smithsonian museum that's...
This one I can't play, guys, because it's like a little hint of music playing in the background, and you really can't do that. So it's like a little slight hint of music and shit, and I can't control that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to have the ones with no music if we're gonna do this type of grind. So let's see.
President Donald Trump tapped Vice President J.D. Vance to target, quote, improper, divisive, or anti-American ideology at Smithsonian museums. Trump signed an executive order directing Vance to work with congressional leaders to appoint members to the Smithsonian Board of Regents, quote, who are committed to advancing the celebration of America's extraordinary heritage and progress. Vance is a member of the Smithsonian Board of Regents. The executive order reads, quote, the Smithsonian Institution has in recent years come under the influence of a divisive, race-centered ideology. This shift has promoted narratives that portray American and Western values as inherently harmful and oppressive. The Smithsonian Institution receives roughly $1 billion annually in federal funding that could be at stake under the new order. Congress has also been directed to ensure the American Women's History Museum, quote, celebrates women's achievements and does not recognize men as women.
Damn. I ain't tripping on that one. That's some wild shit. They be wilding, man. I mean, you know, we already see how it go. And, you know, they ain't going to necessarily keep our history in something in high regard. And that's just, you know, it's really nothing you can do about that. But we, as Black people, we got to keep our conversations going. We got to make sure that their messaging does not get convoluted. And we also have a message, because they will at least delete us. And we know that. They've been doing that forever, you know what I'm saying? Reviewing the Smithsonian, it's like this real scary thing that we have to rely on Trump to decide, like, what is he gonna do? I don't know. If he delete us, Trump is gonna delete us. Trump gonna backspace on Black people. Trump about to backspace on Black people. What we gonna do? He might delete us. He gonna control, delete us. Oh shit. We're supposed to be so afraid. But again, the other cultures, the Jewish culture, the whoever culture, they do not have a problem with their museums, their history, and nothing like that. That's why you can't rely on other people to tell your messages. You can't rely on other people to give your messaging. You can't do that. That's almost like a destruction. Yo, hit the like button, guys. Share the message. Show some love. We're back on the message, and definitely hit the like button. Definitely show some support. We got the super chat going over there. We get your support to keep the show going. Show us some love. Keep the polls going. We appreciate you. These are our shirts again. We're showing you what we're rocking with over here at Hood Films. I'm your boy Hood. This is Black Outrage number 49. We almost at 50. Tomorrow makes number 50. So that's going to be a big hit. I'm going to be asking for $50 super chats all day. Let's get to it.
So what kind of a reaction are you hearing to this story?
Frustration. There's a lot of frustration out there. There's a lot of individuals who feel like there is an erasure that is happening of history. But also, too, a lot of individuals are feeling there is this anti-blackness dynamic that is happening. And if you look at it, it started bubbling up to the surface when you start seeing the affirmative action cases going before the Supreme Court. It was very much a black person is taking away my spot. I know I had to deal with that when I was at the University of Michigan. One of the first cases, Ms. Bollinger, was actually my freshman year, where one of the defendants said that a black person took her seat. And so the tension that caused being on campus. And then you see what's happening too with this anti-DEI movement, right? There's always the idea that a black person's unqualified, but we're not looking at the full scope and spectrum of what DEI actually is, and actually is dealing with those who have certain disabilities and capabilities too, as well as women. But for some reason, blackness is the viewpoint of it. And now you're looking at the Smithsonian Museum. In particular, there are other museums that are being impacted by this. But again, we're looking at the Smithsonian African American Museum. When you attribute the word woke, somehow woke has been meant to represent blackness. And so there is this movement when you see all these data points that's really start to add up. It's like this anti-blackness movement, right? And even when you travel around, particularly around the world, I encounter individuals who are applying to college universities, and there's this idea that white kids can't get in because a black kid is taking their spot. There's this pervasive dynamic that is existing that just isn't true. The data just doesn't suggest that. If you look at schools like University of Michigan, alma mater, 115,000 applicants applied last year for a space of like 4,000 seats. It's a numbers game, right? And so there is this nuance that is not being addressed as we make this so binary, so ones and zeros, and so black and white.
Bam, bro broke it down. Never heard of dude, don't know who he is, but he broke all that down, and he talked just like them. So he said it in their vernacular so that they can understand it. That all the stuff that's being made up to fake the idea that black people are taking over your spot, taking your job, taking something that's yours, it's all wrong. It's all lies because the numbers don't back none of it up. And it might be one situation or one thing, but then, like you said, the campus of University of Michigan, where he graduated on his freshman year, some white lady had a gripe saying a black person took her seat. But okay, fine, that happened. But he said it blew up all over the fucking campus. So now this your freshman year, you walking through school and all the white people going crazy. How many white people you think go to University of Michigan? And how many black people you think go there? Imagine being a black person walking around campus. They mad at this other girl who did something or whatever over here in this situation, but you all of a sudden they staring you down and you walk in the room and everybody get quiet. You like, what the fuck? I don't even know that damn lady. It's my first goddamn month in this bitch. I don't know none of you motherfuckers. But this is what it is when you're black. Now everybody supposed to walk on pins and needles because of what this black lady did and this black lady did. Oh my God. Man, get the fuck out of here. Y'all don't do that shit. The motherfucker bombed something. Don't know every white person walk around feeling like, oh, here I come in the room, they gonna think that was me. No, the fuck they don't. They walk in there standing tall. Like they don't give a shit about what some other motherfucker did. You can't make them feel weird because another white lady was a Karen some damn well. The fuck out of here. And they'll even speak that shit. Nigga, I ain't like that. I don't blah, blah, blah. They'll say it. But if you go in that room and you're at your job and somebody did some shit and they walk in the room trying to act like, oh, he was probably be like that guy we saw on the news today. And you be like, I'm not like that motherfucker. Oh, no, we're not thinking that. Nobody said that. Why would you think we said that? We don't know. I swear to no one did. Then they're going to start crying. He thinks I'm racist. Oh, because I didn't even do it. And you and this bitch like, hey, whoa, no. I thought the way she was acting, because you know that shit was on the news. Look, we're not like that here. And I don't know how you bring that up. You like, now you know all you motherfuckers is phony as a bag of dog ass, but don't act like motherfucker. I said some shit and I'd have made this bitch cry. And all of a sudden everybody in this motherfucker like, you probably want to work on the next floor down. Can you just work down there? Just let things air out. We'll bring your stuff. You don't have to carry anything. We'll take it down there for you. And you at your damn job. You come home, everybody. But how was work? Oh, it's cool. Everything cool. Yeah, I like my job. And this motherfucker, pins and needles. Like shit, this bitch cried. What the fuck tomorrow gonna be like? She could have just had a conversation. She had to do. We have to deal with that shit at these goofy ass jobs. That's what the fuck we dealing with if you don't fucking have the ideology of the fucking corporation. And let's not front that that's not true. That's not corporate responsibility because they make the fucking workers try to walk around with the same thought pattern. That's bullshit. If I'm a fucking Democrat and you're a Republican, fuck you. If I'm a Republican and you're a damn Democrat, fuck you. This is my opinion. This is my way of thinking. But it ain't like that. You go in that motherfucker and don't believe Michael Vick should have had his ass locked up, and I bet your ass ain't gonna have a job. And that's a fact. Let's get back to the message, because let me see if the white lady gonna be like, no, that can't be true. That's really happening. Let's see if she played dumb.
Now, President Trump says, and I'm quoting here, everything discussed, he's talking about the museum, is how how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future. Do you think it's possible to focus too much on the mistakes of the past and not enough on the successes? And do you think that's happening? Is it possible that's happening at the Smithsonian Museums?
I think even the premise of that, there's a misunderstanding, and particularly even when you go to a national African American there's incredible floors, but it takes you through a journey. There's celebration, there's triumphs, but you can't have celebration and triumphs without having complications, right? There's this narrative out there that a rose grows out of concrete, right? And so we can't ignore that America is complicated. America has a complicated history, right? But this idea, particularly when it comes to democracy and to voting, is that we vote to make this imperfect union more perfect, right? And so how can you talk about history without talking about slavery, Diane? Like, how can you talk about women's suffrage, right, if you don't talk about the 14th Amendment? And the reason why I come into the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment was to enfranchise black men so that they could have a place to vote. There was debate and discussion on whether or not with women's suffrage and their frustration about not being included, but there was another debate on the other side, particularly W. Du Bois, who said, no, let this go forward as a place of advancements. So you can't talk about women's suffrage and women's right to vote without talking about the 14th Amendment. You can't talk about the 14th Amendment we're talking about right now, a policy around immigration and birthright citizenship. That was fundamentally because and birthed out of slavery. So how can we talk about even current issues and policy today if you want to ignore slavery? You can't talk about cryptocurrency and digital currency right now if we don't talk about the fundamentals of capitalism and Wall Street was founding on, which was slaves. Slaves were the original commodity. When you think about insurance.
Whoa. I'm not gonna let that speed by. We're gonna have to pull that back real quick, because they let him speak. I don't know what's this is ABC7, so they must be really on some anti-Trump shit, because they letting this guy talk and say this must be some 4 a.m. type shit or something like that I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't let this talk like that in regular time frames. But what he's saying is the absolute truth. All of these elements and all of these systems that America rides on and make money from started from the slave. However, there will be no connection to that. So that's the idea of it. So if I bring you from another country and then you speak another language, but then I outlaw your language. If I make music with drums and then I outlaw your drums. If I have my hair a certain way and then I outlaw your drums, but I don't outlaw it like me and you deal with outlaw today, like the police tap on your window and say, roll your window down. Do you have your hair? What is that drums? It's not like that. The outlawing mean I come over there and kill you. I come over there and fuck you up. I chop your fucking arm off. I chop your penis off to show the people that's around you. If anybody hit a drum again, I don't give a damn if it was an accident. This gonna happen to your ass. So you like, oh shit. Everybody don't do that. Listen, stop. The kids grow up. Hey, stop. Hey, don't play that. Throw that shit away. You're gonna die up here. This is what life was like for black people. Really living on the edge. Now it's easy to say, hey man, that was a long time ago. Man, but we out bad shit. Things happen, bro. It was fucked up too. Cause y'all wasn't the only slaves. All this dumb shit that people say. But imagine living on the edge like that, living in an unmitigated fear that every single second something can go wrong with not just you, but your child. And then a door open, swing open, and they just yanking a black motherfucker out of there and doing what the hell they want to do with him. Whether you see him again ever or never, or see him again later on that day, it's always a fucking trauma. This is what the fuck it was like that they just trying to erase and get rid of. But the systems were started from there. The systems was created from there. You would be hard pressed to realize that WWE was started because they were showing the videos of how they was beating the shit out of slaves back in the day. That'd fuck your brain up. You'd be in this motherfucker like, wait a minute, the Triple H was because they was doing this they was doing this slam on some black nigga. What the fuck? It'll shock you. But if that was a historical fact, wouldn't that be something you want to fucking know? Or would you want to just keep going to the shows, not saying that that's true, because I'm not saying that's true, this is hypothetical, that partying and having a good ass time, and that's something that you can look at and see the facts behind that. That might be something that you want to know before your kid be saying, take me to the game, I really want to go. Hey, sit down, let me talk to you. Look, that shit started from, that didn't happen. This is just me making a point. So my point about sometimes the history is very, very important. It's key. So let the guy, I wanted to pull that back just a second so he could run back through that point about the foundations that everybody keep trying to act like didn't happen or can't be traced back to. Like just because we walking around today and party and shit and on our phones, you can't trace racism and back to cryptocurrency back to racism in slavery and Wall Street. You can't trace that back. You can't trace slavery back to insurance companies and insurance. You can't trace the police back to slave catchers. You can't trace that back. Well, this is the reason why there's a museum, to walk that shit straight back to the past. But if the museum deletes, then everything will probably start when Tupac died. And it was like Tupac died. It was the East Coast, West Coast war. And then all black people was released from slavery. Little kid walking around like, okay, I'll write that shit down. And that's the history. Move on. And that's the history. Nobody gonna teach you shit else. And then one day he in a yelling match with somebody at 28 and he's screaming, it wasn't. When Tupac died, that's when they released the slaves. Everybody in the room like, what the fuck is he talking about? But that's what they taught him. That's what he know. You can't convince him some other shit. That's exactly what they taught him in school. Because there was no other historical components. Everybody got rid of it to make sure white people felt comfortable. We don't want them to feel bad. Yeah, because that was, no, don't make them uncomfortable. Stop. And then they just teach all the kids some dumb shit that didn't even really happen. However, on their side of the culture, they teaching them how to get hedge funds. They teaching them how to run big ass corporations. They teaching them how to make high rises in every motherfucking city. They teaching them how to keep gentrification going. They teaching them how to run your fucking shit. They teaching them how to do loans in banks. Everything is passed down directly to them to keep them in a powerful position. But the one thing that you can hold on to, which is just the history from your past, the stuff that you've been taught since you was a kid, that's the thing that's making them feel uncomfortable. So delete that shit. Well, delete your hedge funds. Delete Wall Street. Delete all that shit. Delete everything y'all got going on. Even if it's one thing, that's off the condemn. You wouldn't even hear them a conversation about no shit like that. So keep the votes going, guys. I see the votes coming in good. We got a lot of votes going. I know the voting is right in the same little pocket of the 70%. So we're going to get back to the message. I'll read that next. Let's get to it.
You don't talk about the fundamentals of capitalism and Wall Street was founding on, which was slaves. Slaves were the original commodity. When you think about insurance and mortgages were taken out on slave mortgages. So the fundamentals of American capitalism and Wall Street was built on amendment we're talking about right now, a policy around immigration and birthright citizenship. That was fundamentally because and birthed out of slavery. So how can we talk about even current issues and policy today if you want to ignore slavery? You can't talk about cryptocurrency and digital currency right now if we don't talk about the fundamentals of capitalism and Wall Street was founding on, which was slaves. Slaves were the original commodity. When you think about insurance and mortgages were taken out on slave mortgages. So the fundamentals of American capitalism and Wall Street was built on slavery and the notion of slavery. You can't talk about America's agricultural advancements if you can't talk about slavery, because the enslaved people brought those techniques over from the continent of Africa to what we have right now of the cotton industry. You can't talk about the way that we're able to wear cotton t-shirts and cotton material without the cotton gin, which was invented by the...
Let's go back again, because this should be a mixtape. This is what music should sound like. The actual facts. When we was kids in rap music, that's what they used to call it. The actual facts. It was called knowledge itself, but the music was spitting actual facts. That's what they would say. They would be like, I'm spitting actual facts in their rhymes. And so that's basically what this guy's doing. And now it's supposed to be deleted. It's supposed to act like that never happened. I never heard that music. It's not some playlist on Spotify where you can hear Poor Righteous Teachers, and then you hear X-Clan, and then you hear Gangstar, and then you hear KRS, and then you hear Daz Effects, and then you might hear all these black people that were spitting black knowledge. You might hear Super Cat, and then you might hear Mad Lion, and then you might hear I could name just fucking hundreds of them because I was a hip hop head growing up. And now all of a sudden they deleted. And it was like white dudes that was actually making black powerful music. And that shit'll fuck your head up before Eminem. And what was their name? God damn if I could think of that white dude name. It was a white, he had dreadlocks and everything, making black music as a white person. And everybody knew he was white. He wasn't trying to be black. He was just making music like that. What the fuck was it? It wasn't I'm thinking Poor Righteous Teachers, but I forgot the guy's name. I'm gonna think of that shit one day, and I'm gonna tell y'all about it. But it was back in the day, and this guy was a rapper like everybody else, baggy clothes, New York looking, just doing it. And it's what you can see with Fat Joe and them had an intro, because there was a lot of people was given to rap at that time. It wasn't just the black people; everybody was putting in. And so some people made it and stayed up, and then some people didn't. But they did exist. You know what I'm saying? They did exist in the hip hop industry. And so that's why you would see the different cultures. It was a group called Third Base when I was a kid. It was all white dudes, and just and they was rapping. Obviously, you heard of Beastie Boys, but it was just what I love white intelligence. Yeah, no, but that's not Poor Righteous Teachers. But now I forgot that white group name. But shit, so, white. What was it? He had white in his name. He had Third Base, but that Third Base was kind of like more mainstream. You know what I'm saying at that time. Revolutionary Stoner, that's my boy mixtape right now. That's that. If you want to hear that flavor, that time frame, or that style, that's that album right there, Revolutionary Stoner. Because I remember hearing it, and I was like, damn, this is that time phrase. You know what I'm saying? This is that style. So you can listen to that mixtape right now. It's my bro on here, Steve O. Stoner. He showed me how to do the music industry, how to do music and all that shit. So that's why I got a new song coming out in a couple of weeks in a couple of days, matter of fact. It's called Hip Hop Blues, and that's my own song under my other name called Yusef 2 Times. And Law Dog said, you're my age, I'm guessing. I don't know. We probably at the same age bracket. Music 22 said he got a new mixtape. I wouldn't doubt it, bro. You probably gonna go platinum. There's a bunch of folks out here that's just like you. Hey, hit the like button, share the message, or hit the votes. I appreciate y'all rocking with us this far into the show. But we're gonna get back to what this dude's saying, because I believe that what he's spitting is the knowledge that everyone they ask these questions and they be like, why do we? And I didn't do nothing, and my grandparents didn't own slaves, and why are you guys so mad? And you're a victim. You're a victim. Just play this part. Play this part right here, because you can't bring the music back from my time and you can hear the people actually explaining it. But this little segment, whoever this dude is on Channel 7, ABC, because I don't know what numbers it is where y'all are, but let me talk real quick.
Fundamentals of capitalism and Wall Street was founding on, which was slaves. Slaves were the original commodity. When you think about insurance and mortgages were taken out on slave mortgages. So the fundamentals of American capitalism and Wall Street was built on slavery and the notion of slavery. You can't talk about America's agricultural advancements if you can't talk about slavery, because the enslaved people brought those techniques over from the continent of Africa to what we have right now of the cotton industry.
Now we're going back further. I want to just spit that shit.
Suffrage, right? If you don't talk about the 14th Amendment. And the reason why I come into the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment was to enfranchise black men so that they could have a place to vote. There was debate and discussion on whether or not with women's suffrage and their frustration about not being included. But there was another debate on the other side, particularly W. Du Bois, who said, no, let this go forward as a place of advancements. So you can't talk about women's suffrage and women's right to vote without talking about the 14th Amendment. You can't talk about the 14th Amendment. We're talking about right now a policy around immigration and birthright citizenship. That was fundamentally because birth out of slavery. So how can we talk about even current issues and policy today if you want to ignore slavery? You can't talk about cryptocurrency and digital currency right now if you don't talk about the fundamentals of capitalism and what Wall Street was founding on, which was slaves. Slaves were the original commodity. When you think about insurance and mortgages were taken out on slave mortgages. So the fundamentals of American capitalism and Wall Street was built on slavery and the notion of slavery. You can't talk about America's agricultural advancements if you can't talk about slavery, because the enslaved people brought those techniques over from the continent of Africa to what we have right now of the cotton industry. You can't talk about the way that we're able to wear cotton t-shirts and cotton material without the cotton gin, which was invented by an enslaved person. You can't talk about the great music that we enjoy of jazz, of blues, of gospel, of house music if you don't talk about the enslaved movement that came from the delta of the Mississippi. So those are all the things that comes out of slavery. You can't discuss Civil War. How do you explain Civil War without the fundamentals of what Civil War was fought on, which was about slavery at its core, about states' rights and secessions, right? And so when you think about the politics of it, when you think about the economics of it, when you think about the innovation of it, it starts with slavery. And you can't talk about architecture and the way that we love to celebrate. It feels like Frank Gehry. If you don't talk about the ways that the slaves built the nation's capital, all the monuments that we love and revere and that is being guarded right now by the National Guard, those were built by slavery, right? And so you can't talk about all these things if you don't talk about it. So you have to talk about both. Even if you're uncomfortable, that is the point of history. That is the point of music debate on these topics.
And Mike, the American...
Bam. And that is succinctly put. So whoever that guy is, that little breakdown right there, that need to go into the history books. Now, if you just put those little pockets right there, and you got every little element that he talked about, from capitalism to insurance to agriculture to inventions to just everything that the black people just invented, and that's just one thing. He can't talk about every other element from science. He didn't talk about every other element from animals and geography and geology. He didn't get into those elements. He didn't get into political science. He didn't get into social science. He didn't get into constitutional science. He just talked about the elements just right there. Just those things that we all have to deal with every day: capitalism, insurance, mortgage, just those elements. Women's rights. W.D. Du Bois said, no, let's make sure that went through. The 14th Amendment went through. Voting. He just tapped on about 7 elements that should be always something that we should be able to spew back to anybody who tell us about why we think you deserve this, and we think you shouldn't be complaining, and why America is all new and America is all fresh. Then why is all these elements, and why is all these institutions, and why is all these things still around today and held down and strong, and black people can't benefit from neither one? From the mortgage industry, you can't benefit from it. They got redlining. They got banks that won't give you none. The agricultural shit, they don't give you no land. You can't have no land. You can't buy no land. The fucking what else he hit on? The cotton gin and all that shit. You don't have no corporations where you taking that cotton and you turning it into t-shirts, and it's not just Gildan, but you got Black Dan t-shirts. None of that shit. You don't have nothing. You can't connect back to the inventions that was built by black people. We aren't able to get the shoe lasting machine by Jan Metzelliger, the guy who started the shoes, and now we all wear shoes, and it's big time billionaire corporations, but they gave him $40,000 for his invention back then, and he died penniless at the time. So even just so many inventions that black people have done, but it's supposed to be this overarching notion that majority of the people who actually are immigrants are telling us that we shouldn't. Damn, my battery died on this bitch. I'm just realizing that. Motherfucker went dead on me. What the hell? So this bitch dead? No, this bitch rocking. So yeah, sometimes we have a glitch like that. Look like I glitched out on a sound, but that's just really some crazy shit to try to believe that all of that come out of it. We still hear you. Okay, great business, because I saw my power had shut, even though the battery. Oh no, okay, the battery going down on this one. I see what it is. That must be a message. But yeah, I appreciate that, Steve Stoner. Yeah, is Trump wrong for dissing slavery? The numbers are still right there. It looked like it's at 74% and 26% say no. He ain't wrong, but 26% is a really low number, so that's not in the 40s. Like normally, sometimes the votes be that heavy that they swing like that all the way to the 40s, but it's not like that this time. It's just a lower number, but we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Y'all kicking it with us this far into the message. I'm gonna get right back to the message. Hit the chat. It's over there. I don't know if this message ran out yet, but I'm gonna still put another one up there, because that's what you gotta do. You gotta give people a chance to support you. Y'all just probably gotta warm up to me, get to know me, you know, hang out with me for a minute, then you be like, all right, I rock with Hood. Yeah, he all right guy. You know what I'm saying? I show some support to the bro. So I appreciate y'all for kicking it with us. And everybody that voted, I appreciate y'all for voting. Y'all did a lot of voting today. I mean, a crazy amount of votes. Everybody really spoke up and spoke out. Black outrage, number 49. And we talk about Trump wanting to end the slavery stuff inside the museums. And we'll get back to the message. But I actually need to take a break, because I've been sitting down a little too long. So I'm going to take a 1-minute break so I can stretch my legs, because I should do the rest of the show standing up, because this chair is kicking my ass at this point. So let me get 1-minute break, y'all, and I'll be right back in a 60-second run. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, we back at it. We are back at it. What's good? Oh, here we go. Steve Stoner said, we still hear you. Let me see if my sound back.
Goofy's like you.
All right, sound's still working pretty good, look like. So we're going to get back to the message over here. Let this lady talk about it. Let this lady talk about it. All right, we'll be right back. I appreciate you guys talking and rocking with us all the way. Oh, snap, my audio. Okay, let me hit this button again because this baby be tweaking. One more time. Sometime the power button. Ready right here. All right, look like we good. We are good. We still good. So I'm going to get back to the message again, and we'll let this lady explain away what she's talking about right now. All right, and go.
So much on slavery when it comes to rewriting history. There's a lot of history that it's in these museums, but he's focused on one thing, and that is that there's too much slavery being mentioned in the United States of America. That's very odd, Batia, honestly.
So I want to start by saying I actually agree with everything that's been said, and I loved your opening, and so I offer these comments very humbly because it's an honor to be included in this conversation, which is very solemn, and I think we all understand that, and we are all looking for the common ground here. And so what I'm about to say, I don't mean in any way to negate that tone, but starting around 2011, 2012, sociologists started to notice a shift in white liberal opinion polling to where white progressives became more extreme in their views on race than Black and Hispanic Americans. And they called this, the sociologists did, called it the Great Awakening. And when they postulated, where did this come from? Why did white progressives suddenly start obsessing over race in a way that was actually far to the left of where Hispanic and Black Americans were on this issue? They found that the media had shifted radically how it talked about these issues. So for example, in 2010, the words white supremacy were mentioned 75 times in the Washington Post and the New York Times.
But the media is different from museums.
In 2020, the words white supremacy were mentioned 700 times in the Washington Post and the New York Times and 2,400 times in NPR. The word racism 4,000 times in 2020. The words white and racial privilege from 2013 to 2019 grew by 1,500% in the New York Times and the Washington Post, and the word slavery itself exponentially skyrocketed as a percentage of words. I'm offering this only to suggest.
I'm just wondering what do you think is the problem with talking about slavery, white supremacy, racism, etc.?
So the point I'm trying to make here is that liberals will say, well, this is a reflection of reality, but of course it isn't. This is a reflection of a newfound obsession that was driven by the media, and that doesn't reflect either the moral evil of these things or the historical accuracy.
I do want to dive into what you mean by that, because you say that you don't think it's a reflection of reality. Based on what?
Well,
based on the idea that those things don't exist, that white supremacy doesn't exist, racism doesn't exist, that we shouldn't be talking about it anymore?
Based on the idea, obviously all these things I think are evil, but there's not more slavery now to the tune
of but I think part of the problem is that
hold on a second,
Bakari. Part of the problem is that back, not that long ago, in the 50s, the 60s, even beyond that, when there was actual Jim Crow happening in this country, people were actually treating Black people as second-class citizens. We weren't talking about those things at all.
But in
those words were virtually never mentioned.
Yeah,
so is that better? Was it better then, or was it worse?
You don't think that 2013 is the same as the 1960s, right?
Respectfully, and I've had this debate.
Do you really think that there's as big a difference between the 1960s?
I don't. That's not my point. My point is that the use of the language in present day, or the lack of the use of the language back when racism was apparent every single day in the streets of America, doesn't reflect really anything except perhaps a better awareness of reality that we live in as a country.
That's not the point.
The country was more racist in
That's not the point.
I didn't say anything about whether the country was more racist now.
We're missing the forest for the trees. Because respectfully, what you have to realize is that the remnants of slavery that emerged through black codes, which, were enforced by what is modern day police, what you're talking about in Jim Crow, what you're talking about in the civil rights movement, those fights, they weren't even 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. When you talk about George Elmore and everything he gave up so that African Americans could vote in the primary system, when you talk about Harry and Eliza Briggs, who actually were the foundation for Brown versus the Board of Education. When you're talking about Sarah Mae Fleming, who sat down.
Well, see, then again, with all of the conversation, let's get back to what the white lady was saying. And she was saying that the conversation shifted white people that were liberals mindset. So she said that the conversation that was being saw on TV, they mentioned white supremacy words times. They mentioned in the New York Post and New York Times and the Washington Post, they mentioned these words many times. Even NPR, they mentioned it 400 times on NPR in one of those years that she named. So she's saying that the media was able to shift the minds of these people to make them more radical against blacks, against white people, because they keep mentioning white supremacy. They basically saying that they didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And the Trump people saying that these people's minds are shifting, so we need to stop that. But if they're understanding that the media is shifting these white people's minds, they should also understand that their media is also shifting our minds and has been shifting our minds, because they're bringing it up saying that, hey, it's affecting white people now. Now, we know that we got this message in media. What's up, Nebs? We got this message in media and messaging out here to do, what's up, Bob? To do that. But now that the messaging is out there, we want everybody to understand it's our message. But if it start affecting us, now we got it's a crisis. It's a crisis. It's an American chaos. The America is in a fucking bind because they listening to our own messages against ourselves, and we can't do that. So all that's why Trump said we ain't sending no money to none of y'all, because y'all basically using the money to diss white folks, and we ain't doing that. Even this museum doing that shit, and that's their right. That's his truth. That's his positioning. You know what I'm saying? And what can you say? You know what I'm saying? Trump runs that. You know what I'm saying? That's his thing. Neb said Trump will face his sins next year, and I will believe in his health will get worse, and I believe his minions will fall after their hatred against God's children. That's great. That's a prediction right there. Who's to know what's going to actually happen in the future? But that is one hellified prediction, even if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that Trump is off put. But I think that what the girl was saying too, the black lady in this particular statement, she was saying that no, we should talk about those things. And just because we mention those things, it shouldn't be, and it makes some white people upset or uncomfortable. That don't mean it should stop being mentioned. That don't mean that the history should be deleted, or it shouldn't be something that people should continue to know. If they did get a chance to delete that media message and delete black people from the history, it's going to be hell to pay. I ain't saying negatively it's going to be hell to pay, but it's going to be hell to pay mentally for the future generation to come up and have knowledge and learn things, because they're going to just delete the information. I'm going to go a little bit further into this message just so I could get a little bit of a lasting clarity. Keep the votes coming, and after this video, we're going to probably shut it down. But we're going to get to the video so you can see what's going on. Let's go, guys.
On a bus before Rosa Parks. You're talking about the foundation of where we are today, and you see those remnants of injustice even as we sit here today. You have a quarter of shame in South Carolina. Scott just was in South Carolina along the I-95 corridor where black and brown kids go to school. Their heating and air don't work. You have hospitals that are shut down. You have redlining that affect black people today. You have USDA's, right? The Farm Subsidy Program, which wasn't allocating funds to black people. So yes, although you might want to say, and one of the most amazing things about Barack Obama was that we believed we were in this post-racial society. We are not. And so my point to you is that every ounce of change that we've ever had in this country has been because black blood flowed through the streets. You don't have the 64-65 Voting Rights Act without the Edmund Pettus Bridge. You don't have the Voting Rights Act. You don't have Fair Housing Act without King being assassinated. We don't even take the Confederate flag down without 9 people being killed in a church, right? We don't talk about criminal justice reform without a black man being killed in the streets. And so when we are articulating our views to you about the remnants thereof, I understand your point that we are not shackled or in bondage like we were in slavery. However, we have never deconstructed the remnants, which still affect us today.
Well, I also want to just add, Batia.
And that right there was really kind of encapsulating everything. That it's going to make you uncomfortable because of your perpetuation of what you've done. And maybe you guys today white folks today might have a different mindset, and maybe they do feel embarrassed, maybe they do feel uncomfortable, but the thing still happened, and it still happened to a people, and it still happened to a people that's walking around you every single day. And we supposed to be civilized in America, and everybody's supposed to be educated and living at a certain standard, but we all got that feeling, especially the other cultures, that black people shouldn't get nothing. It's even black people that feel like that. It's even black people who feel like we shouldn't be impeded on black people, white people. It's black people who feel like that white people that didn't have shouldn't have to even be felt guilty about what's going on, or have to give nothing, or give nothing at all. But any suburb you go to, is nothing but white people living there. In comfort, no crime, no injustice is happening to them. But they're supposed to just continue to live, even though suburbs is where black people would love to be living, with no crime and no. Why are we locked into some city? Why are we locked into some jobs that's not going to give us the lifestyle and financial up that we need, or pass down to our kids? It's like, it's just the double-edged shit is just too much for me. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up off of here right now, guys. I appreciate y'all watching the show this far into the show. We kicked it today. We had a raw conversation about everything going on Black Outrage number 49. So tomorrow gonna be number 50. We're gonna hit Black Outrage number 50. So hopefully I'll be right back out here kicking it again with y'all. You know, it's kind of hard to always, stay locked in. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, you want to do other stuff, or your mind just can't stay focused enough to actually go and actually do it. So I said today, I just got to fight it and get in there. And then we had a great conversation. We had so many polls came in. Oh my God, this is probably the most polls ever in any show. So we're going to be talking about Trump again, because I think people like to hear that conversation. So that being said, at the end of the video, you're going to see at the top, I had a playlist for all the Black Outrages, all other 48 that we ran through until today. And then you'll be able to subscribe to the channel. These are our shirts. They're available for you right now. We go through Walmart. You can catch up with one, and we appreciate y'all. And we'll be back at y'all tomorrow with number 50, Black Outrage. Peace out.